Bonjour, bonsoir, bonne nuit. My name is Lai Francois. Welcome to the Post1960 podcast. And as you all know, I have my co-host with me, Kaide Johnson.
How's it going, guys?
All right, so this is a brand new episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the previous episode so far. And we have a new topic to discuss today, which is modern society and the decline of traditional values. And today we have cute faces and some babos in the house who are going to discuss with us this topic. And we'll dissect everything left, right, center. And yep.
Yeah. So before we get into the episode, just to remind you guys to please keep liking, sharing, and subscribing the content so we can improve on our views and just, mess up the algorithm as we are doing. You said hanging out with your friends and you said talking to babes. That's completely traditional. If that's normal.
It's cool for me to be emotional. It's cool for me to be vulnerable.
Transitioning more towards being hybrid.
In my personal life, there are dates that I pay for.
That's such a stereotype that women have. I don't know why. So yeah, we're going to get straight into it and introduce the fantastic people we have on the set today. A variety of characters, but they'll tell you a little bit more about themselves by themselves. So let's start with you. So if you could just give us your name, what you do for a living, and where we can find you on social media.
So my name is Elisa and I work in hospitality and I'm a part-time DJ. If you'd like to find me on social media, Instagram, I'll be http.elisa. Please no one say why not HTTPS. I've done enough of that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. Hi everyone. My name is D'Souza Olumide. I'm a project administrator for a real estate consulting company. My Instagram handles, you can find me at D'Souza Olumide. Instagram, Twitter, the likes.
Excellent. Let's go.
Hi everyone, my name is Shade. I am a writer and you can find me at Afola Shade with an underscore on social media.
Nice. Hi, everyone. My name is Mizzle. I'm a singer, a producer, and an all-round superstar. You can find me on social media, Mizzleverse, MIZZLEVERSE.
Excellent. Excellent. So yeah, today we are talking about the modern society and the decline in traditional values. This is a quite interesting topic. I think before we get started, it's really good for us to just get to know each other a little bit better and find out how we describe ourselves. So we're gonna go in the same rotation as we just did. If you can tell me if you describe yourself as a traditional, modern, or a hybrid individual and explain why.
So I'd consider myself a hybrid individual. As someone who's come from different countries, I'm Lebanese, Russian, Nigerian. So I do have a diverse cultural background, and with the 3 different countries I'm from, I've been able to look at the society. So it's interesting that most of the countries I'm from, they do practice traditional, at least they used to, and as of the rise of the modern society or the era of technology more.
Wokeness.
Yeah, exactly. So there has been more rise of, let's say, people being different. So I consider myself hybrid because, I do have my own beliefs, my thoughts, and it's something that works for me. So, yeah.
So just to clarify, when you say hybrid, you mean you have traditional values and sort of a mixture of modern values
exactly,
as well?
Exactly.
And what do you mean by traditional values? If you could just...
So traditional values, everybody knows the traditional values in different countries to be more let's start with the stereotypical thing of it. Okay, so men go to work, they bring food for the family, get the money. The woman stays at home with the kids, We all get that story. But as of now, a lot of people or couples or families have the mom and the dad working.
Okay.
And I'm someone who works. So when I do get married, whenever that is, I believe that I'll continue working. And the partner I choose will be someone who's comfortable with the fact that I'm working and I can still be a stay-at-home mom at some point and go back to work.
Awesome.
Just an instance, for example.
Okay, great.
Out of the whole point, you have about 3 different backgrounds. Do you sometimes find yourself caught in between? If you're in Nigeria, there's certain things you just have to do, you have to be more be more Nigerian, basically. And when you're in Lebanon, this is how you have to act now. And
So in general, in all the countries that I'm always me. But of course, there is the sort of thing here, for example, like respect. Like you really need to respect your elders and whatnot. So in that sense, of course, I respect my elders. There's a way I speak to people that it's also maintained in Lebanon. Not that you disrespect people in Russia or something like that, but there's this thing of respect. So obviously in certain things that I know that, okay, I have to be a bit more calm down. It's just the same thing. Like if you're with your friends, not that you change, but you're a bit more.
But you can't say that
like
to
you can't go
everyone.
like, hey, hey. You can't just tell to some lady, hey, what's up? Like, good afternoon, auntie.
Yeah.
How are you doing, ma? Like certain things, or even in Lebanon, we have our sort of things. And in Russia, like also when you're talking to someone, there's certain words you can, instead of saying just hi, there's a way you can greet formally someone. So that is where I feel like, okay, it's not even more about where I am, but with who I am. So I'm with the people that I'm with, and that will kind of
So you can code switch, basically.
Yeah.
code switch.
switching.
Yeah, like
It's
example,
excellent.
like with friends. Like for example,
Yeah.
I have a couple of mixed friends. So when we are together, it's like we can, throw some slang in there, some Nigerian jokes. But from with my Lebanese friends, there's no point telling them if they have never been here, certain
can't
thing that we
relate.
do.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell them. There's certain words that I even still use. That it's like,
Pidgin English.
So like in that code switching, so when we're all together, it feels really good because in the moment I can speak the way I do, then we can put in a few things, we can make certain references that we know.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So also in Lebanon, so depends. Like I can't tell some of my Nigerian friends that this is what we do. Like it's like, so everyone to them, so it's really interesting and get to have that blend.
Awesome. So let's go.
Yeah, I would say I'm more of a hybrid because I grew up in a very big family, a big house, where my dad and mom taught me to always like kneel, like bow down when I'm greeting elders. So like we hold tradition to a very, very high value. But also I'm a modern guy, I like to hang out with my friends, talk dirty, throw some slangs in there. And I say talk dirty. I don't
Talk
mean,
dirty to me.
Calm down. Take it easy. Easy, Tiger.
After the podcast.
But then by that definition, isn't everyone like a hybrid guy? Because ultimately, I don't think you've said anything that is predominantly modern
Yeah,
as
well,
a guy.
Yeah, like being able
You said hanging out with your friends and you said talking to babes.
Yeah.
That's completely
no,
traditional.
as a guy,
that's
throwing
normal.
slangs like.
Talking slangs, does that
Yeah.
make you like less traditional? Would you say?
I think it does because in traditional way you can't talk to the way. You
But
talk
like
to
in
your
every
friends.
time era, people had slangs, right?
Yeah, but it was a thing of like class. It was a thing of your age mates. Because in my house, there were some certain things you couldn't do with like elders when they were in the room. You had to leave. Like I remember when growing up, who remembers this movie Blade?
Yeah.
I couldn't watch Blade with my elder brothers or my mom or my dad. I couldn't do that because they thought it was too bloody for me at that time when it first came out.
Yeah.
So they will over tell me, yeah, to the room. You get. So there's certain things you couldn't do with like the other people that you could do with your peers, my cousins, my brothers, and my sisters.
So like, are you talking about like, I don't know, that's an experience, but like, I think if we were to narrow it down to like values, like your value system, would you consider yourself in terms of your values, like more traditional or more modern, or would you still say that you're hybrid?
I think I'm hybrid because I think both make up who I am.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a bit of traditional and a bit
I
of
think
modern.
that's very convenient. Like, oh yeah, I'm hybrid. I'd like to go to work.
But there's another question
And I'd
though,
like someone
for
to cook for
example,
me and
Yeah.
clean.
an example, like for example, in certain cultures about getting married or dating before getting married or, having a certain intimate relationship with people before getting married. That's a sort of example of
She means having
traditionalism.
sex.
Okay, in other words, yes. Okay, so for example, in certain cultures, that's not that it's okay, they won't kill you, but it's a tradition.
Well, they
get
might.
married and then, get pregnant before getting married.
They definitely might kill you then.
No, because I grew up in a house full of boys. We were more boys than girls, but I've had my parents and my aunties and my uncles tell the girls in my family, oh, where's your boyfriend? Or it's getting that time, you need to show
Okay.
us. You get what I'm saying? But as far as, you can only get with this type of tribe or you can only date in this particular, no. I think my family is open. As long as you just bring someone who's God-fearing, you love each other, you guys get along.
Yeah. All right, cool. Sounds good.
Not to be controversial, but up until a few years ago, I would have said I was extremely and strongly feminist.
Okay.
But now I think I'm transitioning more towards like being hybrid because, to be honest, I see that it doesn't exactly favor women.
Wow.
Like,
Shots.
okay, let me give an example. Both, like the two of them, the relationship work, but one person still picks up most of the slack for like cooking and cleaning and house care and childcare and stuff. Like, I don't see that being 50-50. Unless, I told my friend this joke one time, although I wasn't joking. Like if
Joking, but not
Yeah.
really
Sorry,
joking.
not sorry.
yeah, like if I'm in a completely traditional relationship with you, I'm not allowed to work, or it's my role, it's my job to clean the house and to cook and to care for the children and stuff. And that's my job. Fine. If you ever fall sick, I'm going to take your card to pay. If you cannot pay for it, I'm sorry. Even if I have the money, why am I spending any of my money? My money is my money. That's when I'll hold on to that. So I guess it depends on the sort of person I'm with.
Is that a joke?
so
Is that the
hybrid.
joke? that
Not
you-
joking.
Well,
I'm not
joking,
joking.
bro.
Gonna
Okay.
take
I
your
will take
card.
your
So
card
what,
and pay.
okay,
No
so what
question.
part
Also,
of
if
that
you
is
die,
real?
you die.
Yeah. Okay, if you
Whoa.
and that's like on everything, like
On everything.
Yeah.
Like if you want me to be that traditional that you don't see any point helping me out, then okay, I'm not helping you out either.
okay. So then obviously you wouldn't get with a person like that then.
No. I definitely
Like, for
wouldn't.
example, when I
Yeah.
go on dates,
Mm-hmm.
like, obviously, the first date, I expect the guy to pay, to be nice. If he
First
says,
dates.
yeah, if
The
it's
first.
I don't
alone?
mind. I don't mind. No. Like, for example, in my personal life, there are dates that I pay for. He pays, I pay. And I see it like that. I like that.
I'll pay for my
Can I ask you a
boyfriend.
question?
have
What
money.
if you
How did you get to that
Committed
stage? Was it like
relationship.
you were like, babe, I want to pay, or he was like, hey, sometimes you should pick up the slack?
Oh, he would never say that.
What?
So this is something that you imposed, but
No,
if you
I
never
didn't
imposed
impose.
on it, he
Yeah,
would have paid.
He would have paid, but like
Yeah.
sometimes I like to not return the favor, but I like to do something nice in return. I just don't expect you to take all the burden all the time.
But you communicated that though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll be like, no, I'm paying. I just take it and I go. I'm finished. Or
What
without
if he
him knowing.
insists, like, no, babe, I got this?
No, I'll pay. If I'm determined to pay that day, I will pay.
What if you get into just like, oh, babe, I'll pay? No, I got this.
said
No,
she's
no.
going to pay.
I will pay. But like, this is not with
Bro,
someone I
she's
met
going
the
to
first
pay.
time. If you're asking me,
In my experience, I don't see too many guys fighting that.
Bro, anyways, yeah.
no,
okay.
some guys
Some guys
No,
do
I mean, they
really
might be like,
seriously
oh,
fight
no,
that.
but to completely be like,
Because
no,
I
don't see
think-
too many guys that do
I
that.
think some guys, because it's different, they don't really expect that. You know, every
I
guy
won't. I
goes
won't.
like, oh,
The
I'm
question,
going on
the
paying.
question would be
You
who
want
initiated the dates night?
Yeah, that is also important. But like, I mean, if you've been in a relationship with someone for a while, at that point, it's not about who initiated.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
will go on
Oh,
dates.
that's
But
right.
I
Yeah.
pay those dates, for example. Some dates I pay, or you get me this, and I go to the store, I get you that. So there's this kind of like give and take.
Reciprocity.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
important.
if your boyfriend absolutely rejected it, would that offend
That's
you, or would
fine.
it? Okay, it's
fine.
fine.
Take
So
it
at some
over.
point in the negotiation, you'll be like, okay, babe, all right, cool. You
but
have
I'll
it.
still do something. Like he can't always reject me. I'll bring
Like just buy
takeouts.
him a gift and
I'll
just
buy
give it
him
to
a
him.
gift
Right,
and
okay, cool.
That
bring
would definitely
takeout.
Don't
offend
you
me.
think
buy
you need to have a
grocery.
conversation
I would
with
be
him?
so offended.
Well, it depends. Like to begin with, I won't be with someone who's just constantly cutting me off from doing certain things. From the beginning, you know who you're with. So I will be with someone who allows me to provide too, like buy him this, do this from time to time, and then he knows that is his role in the relationship. Great.
Yeah, so
then
what
I
if
can
he
also help.
changes? What if at some point he changes and he decides for some reason he has some experience that makes him decide that he wants to be the sole provider and he doesn't want you to ever do anything again?
That's fine. Then I will still provide in the little things that I can.
Never do
Yeah, I mean, as long
anything.
as you won't leave
No,
him.
I won't like just stop and leave. Like
I
if
think
he
that's
says
how abusive relationships start.
you know, like but
For real.
But if he decides he wants to be super
Feminist is
amazing,
coming out now.
I'm telling you, bro.
she's
Like,
like, I transitioned, I left, and then it's like, no, I didn't.
I didn't really.
No, but like in general, if he doesn't want me to pay, great. If there are chances I can take to pay for something just to show that you're not the only one, that's also great.
Yeah, awesome. So are you done with your point about explaining your?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
you're hybrid now. You used to be a feminist. I don't even know how to
I think
classify
for
a
all-
feminist. Is
I
a
was a
feminist
pretty
I think for
traditional?
all millennials.
It's
I'm
true-
still, I think from what I've said, I'm still pretty deep in
Feminism.
feminism, but I understand that, there's allowances you can make to make both of you feel better in the relationship.
Yeah.
I think it strokes a guy's ego
Exactly,
to
yeah.
provide and to,
Exactly, and you allow him provide.
Yeah.
If he makes him
but
happy,
then you
cool.
can't always cut me off from, doing
Yeah.
things or spending money, especially with my own money. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
But like, I feel like to some extent, it's a bit one-dimensional if we're only talking about like the guy's traditional role to be just to provide. There are other things, right? Like he could try and protect you.
Yeah.
For example,
How?
like you want to pay
You tell me
sometimes. You
how.
want to pay sometimes, right? But like if we were like getting mugged on the street, would you want to fight sometimes? Say, babe, I got this. Don't worry, I'll
Well,
take
in
it.
that
And then he'll be like, no, I got it. He's like, no, babe, I insist.
In that moment,
I
you don't have
insist.
the
Let me fuck
chance
this
to
guy.
negotiate that. It's like someone has to throw a punch. He takes the head, I take the leg, and we go.
What? that would never.
But you see what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
Shadi, like when you explain it,
Naija
like
babes left the convo.
No,
that
Nigerian
would
babes, we have
never
left
Naija
the
babes left the
shoe.
convo. Man.
We have
with
started
any
the fight.
babe, there's no babe that's going to stay with you and
you
fight.
see what I'm
You
saying?
just-
What's that?
I'm fighting
I said
every
Naija
time.
babes left the
Taser.
convo.
What? This is pepper spray.
Oh, pepper spray.
I'm fighting every time. What?
Wait, where did you pull that from?
Can you see what the society has done to her? No, can you see what the
Walking
society
around
has
with
done
it.
That's
to
why
her?
you need
Walking
a,
around
that's
with
why you need a
somebody-
traditional man.
And we didn't
maybe.
even see her pull
someone to
that
protect you.
out.
Like, this
Wait,
came out
what?
of
You're trying to
nowhere.
find my man? What?
I will shank you if I have to. Like,
Oh.
yeah, like
whoa.
you're coming
Damn.
to us and you want to fight us or take something from us. I'll beat you up if I can. He's doing one, I do
No,
another.
no, you
It's
said
tough.
shank. No, you
Damn.
said shank.
Come on
Shank
your
and
back,
beat
I'm
you
biting
up.
your
You
neck.
have a break, but
Let's go.
That's wild.
So basically, equal in hybrid and equal in every aspect, not just
But
providing.
like if in that situation that he has more like the presence like in front of me or something, he pulls
Yeah.
off. Okay, but I'll try to do something, make a phone call, do something. I don't know. You want to
Yeah.
just stand
like you're
there.
not just screaming and
You
hiding
know-
behind the car. You're like, babe, go. Like you're,
Yeah, like
you're
you do
involved
it.
in the solution,
So
basically.
something, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
solution
yeah.
oriented.
Okay,
I guess.
cool.
So yeah, I think across the board it should be pretty even. So like help me do housework, do childcare,
Yeah.
make your money. I'm also making money because I don't see myself ever in a position where I'm not going to work. So yeah, and I don't think my money is just my money.
Like it's nice if you come home and you get your clothes, your dirty clothes off. Don't throw it on the floor. You can put it in the.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
you can help yourself.
That's such a stereotype
You
that
can't
women
cook
have. I
for
don't know why.
yourself.
I don't know why women assume
Is it
that
a
every
fact?
man
Oh,
is like
so-
dirty. Like that's crazy.
To be fair,
Like,
to be fair, majority
See, I
of
did
them
not
are.
say dirty.
Majority
I
of
said
men are-
sometimes
majority of
messy.
men are
My
messy
boyfriend
like
is
that.
one of the
Majority of men are
cleanest
messy.
people,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
in their
does
experience.
that every time.
In
Just
the-
like
in the
you
field
know,
of
Consciously,
experience.
like
Do you know what you
I
guys?
don't think
Do you know
it's
this is
conscious. I don't
anecdotal, and do you know
think
where you're
no
getting it
matter if
from?
it's conscious or subconscious. Why are you removing your shorts?
But do you
and
know
then
where
it's
you're
on the floor?
getting that from?
Movies.
Where?
Your brothers or your cousins. This is not men outside.
the men
This
in
is
their lives.
completely anecdotal.
My man does this.
That's it's a
I have a
joke.
boyfriend that does this, and he's clean.
But he just throws his pant anyway.
But you know what? It's a
doesn't
joke.
look
Guys. It's a joke. It's a joke. But
No, it's not a joke.
It's Sade's sort of joke. You know?
Yes, I'm joking, but
Not
No,
really.
Not really.
All right, cool. Let's move on to Mizzle. So how would you describe yourself?
I would say a hybrid, but like 75%. No, actually 25% traditional, and like 75%. I think I'm woke, but there's parts of wokeness and this new thing that everybody has that I don't like. I don't like identity politics. I don't like group mentality, but I'm traditional 25% of the time because of how I was raised. I was raised completely traditional, but school and my environment and the internet and all my influences have taught me that being traditional can be very rigid and it can stop people from being themselves and opening up to you and actually sharing the connection that is important. So sometimes you have to be open-minded. So it's like 75% open and then 25% traditional, because I feel like I am still a man and it's my job. That's what gives me meaning, right? I have to provide, I have to protect. Those are the things I have to do. Then there's some things that I need in return, right? So if I'm with somebody, she has to be able to support me. She has to be able to cooperate with me. So if she's not like cooperative and she's not submissive, right?
I'm sorry, you said
Why you look at her like
25%
that?
traditional.
And like submissive sounds like 70%
It sounds like
traditional. I'm
Um,
joking. It's good. A woman can be
Right.
submissive. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think submissive is a bad word,
It's not
but
even-
yeah.
it's not-
let's
I mean, to
move.
feminist is a horrible word.
No.
It's not a bad word. It's
Like
just
I
been
want to be
abused.
submissive.
See?
Yeah.
I also want to be submissive, but I
Yeah,
don't want
submissive
to be
has been
abused.
abused. It has been abused. It has
Yeah,
been abused.
abused.
It
Yeah,
sounds like
it's
sit
been-
down and shut up.
Yeah,
that's what
meanwhile, submissive
that's what
is
like
more
the
like-
modern
Okay,
feminist
yeah,
would
but
tell
yeah,
you it
Alex,
means, but it doesn't mean
yeah,
that.
no,
The
but
way
the
you
thing
just
is,
said, sit down and shut up.
I was like, he has
experiencing that.
So you said that, and I want to sit down and shut up.
Let's make something
We're all
clear, right? Is
submissive
it
to
bad?
him.
Is it bad for him to be able to say, "Sit down and shut up"?
Yes,
If
because I
no-
can
Why
say
is he
the
telling
But
you
why
to
would you
sit
tell
down?
your partner to
No,
sit
no,
down and
no.
shut up?
Sorry,
though?
please
Are you
explain.
crazy?
Now,
Who are you talking
let me explain
to?
something to you, right? Like
You're
I
going
said,
to the deep
there's
end,
25%. The core of everything has to be traditional, because when you remove wokeness and remove like the fact that we've moved so far as a society, this is the most peaceful period I've ever been as the human race, right? People have more time in their hands, so it's easier for someone to wake up in the morning and be like, I identify as a teacup, right? It's very easy to do that because people don't have issues anymore. But back then, when we used to have real issues, it was easier to be a man and easier to be a woman because we all knew what our roles were. In situations or times of war, when a man tells a woman, sit down and shut the fuck up, she knows it's fucking serious. She knows it's time for her to sit down and shut the fuck up because she trusts this guy with her life, right? But now, because of the fact that there are so many incompetent men that don't deserve submission from women, right? Women have had so many bad experiences where they are bitter,
Period.
and now they are pained. Like it's very hard for them to submit to anybody. Yeah,
There are
but
some
they do. But like that, they inherently want to submit to men. But there's so many incompetent men, and there have been so many bad experiences that they just can't. So me, I'm standing for the guys that are competent. You know, I should be able to have that power. I'll do everything I can to provide for my woman, right? But she should also be able to give me authority over our relationship and where we're headed. I'm the leader, she's the follower.
So would you like? So you're saying a degree of authority if you are to assume responsibility over
Exactly.
her in certain situations.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
I love that explanation.
Sorry, quick one. Mizzle, are you dating a 16-year-old?
No,
So
No.
why do you want to
to have a follower.
Authority over
like that much
No, it's
authority over someone you're dating?
It's
Because
not.
if you're no,
Yeah.
to me, we have this fight always. We have this fight
Are you
always.
guys dating?
I never agree with him.
Okay.
What the fuck?
nice.
What the? What the?
That's second to settle.
That is the
I never
real
agree with
podcast
him.
question.
No,
Like,
basically
you guys
to clarify,
lying.
he said we have this debate all the time.
Oh, okay.
I thought you guys were dating for a moment. Kind of looks like you are. You're together.
All my life I've been surrounded by strong women. So when some people say certain things and like, oh, women need this, I'm like, the women I grew up knowing are not that kind of like, they're not that kind of person. And you wanting a woman that is going to be, yes, women can be submissive and all of that stuff, but you wanting a woman you're going to always direct and tell to shut up and sit down. Nah, bro, you're not dating a 16-year-old.
So like, so
Are you dating a dumb?
just to
Are you
just
dating a girl?
no, but just
Dating
in,
a teacup?
Leonardo.
no, but in response to that, he was very, very clear under what circumstance
Yeah,
a
yeah,
man
like
needs
in
to be
danger.
able to like veto a decision.
Yeah.
Like we cannot be deliberating.
Why should
If
they
I
have-
say
no,
duck,
no.
bro,
Yeah.
if I say duck, and you're saying like, why are you talking to me like that?
no,
I'm like, no, babe, duck.
Obviously,
Bro, just duck
this is
because
the
we're about to
no.
get shot. Like sometimes, you know, what I'm saying is that what he said is like you trust the man, he's competent enough, you respect him enough to know that this guy's got me, he respects me. It's not an abusive, it's not a toxic relationship. So when he says duck in that tone, you know, you have to
you
know.
know,
You have to
question.
duck. You have to
Okay,
know.
wait,
So
your
like,
question.
let's. I think the analogy is twisted now because we said sit down and shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
I think
That's
what-
crazy.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
almost
Yeah.
never be that. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
it would never be that. Let's just
Yeah.
use the analogy that's like, babe, get down.
Okay,
And
that's
she's like,
different.
I don't
Get
like the
down.
way you spoke to me, babe. Get down.
No, 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 no.
Do you know what I'm
That's
saying?
a different
Get the fuck
subject.
down.
No, no,
I
that's
have a question. Okay, I have two questions, but the first one is, if I tell you duck, will you duck?
I'll duck him.
If my girl tells me to
Say-
duck,
Let's
of course
start
I'll
with
duck.
Bro, if my babe was like, babe, duck.
Of course I'll fucking duck. Like,
You know,
Wait, that means you guys have this
My hops
communication
around
with each
the
other.
corner.
You've trusted each other to a
Yes.
certain extent.
Yes, of course we trust each other, but the responsibility of safety and protection is on me. It's
Okay,
not on her.
that
Yeah.
brings me to my
No,
second
because it's
question.
two competent people dating two
Thank
competent
God,
people.
two
Yeah.
competent
That
people.
brings
So
me
it's
to
a
my
competent
second
babe telling you,
question.
babe, duck. And it's a competent guy saying, hey, babe,
As a guy, you
duck.
should believe that, okay, she sees something you don't.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
second
So
question.
you should go.
When
Vice
last,
versa.
when last did you have to protect a woman in such a manner?
Listen, you are always
Honestly,
in a relationship.
you
You
are
are
the
always
protector.
going to assume the
To
responsibility.
be honest, it
of
doesn't
the
even have
protector.
to be.
I
It
said when
doesn't.
last did you have to
It
do that?
doesn't. It doesn't even have to be in a relationship as a man. Like if we were
Even with
outside
your
together,
sister.
if we were
When we
outside
go
together,
out
me-
every time.
Every
What is
time.
that?
exactly.
You-
Like
you-
You're coming
have-
from the club, and those guys are trying to like take money from you. You're gonna
But you know
direct
they're
your
not
baby.
taking
You're
money
holding her
from
hand.
you, right? They're not trying to take money from her.
Bro, your girl is a
can't.
victim by
No.
by
By
default.
society.
She's
You
with
know
you.
why I
They'll
I-
rob
I-
you and your babe. Like you have
why
to
that is
hold
so
her and
wild
make sure
to
she's
me?
good.
I go with my girls all the time. I will never get robbed. And we
Come
walk
on, come on,
drunkenly
come on.
back
Wait,
to the
wait. Why do
car.
you why do you have a
Are
pepper
you sure you're a
spray?
feminist?
You have a pepper spray.
Why'd you have a pepper spray?
Because, so I can,
Attack.
so I can
not for
fight
money,
for
though.
myself.
To defend yourself.
Because the society has
See,
made
so I don't
you
understand
like
if there are
pushed
10
in that
guys.
corner to always like you have to
Okay.
protect
If
yourself.
5
All
Agberos
time.
should surround my boyfriend, will he survive?
Babe.
So what
Okay,
are we
listen,
talking
Okay,
about?
all right, cool.
Li-
So
listen.
let's just. So what are you saying? Are you saying that you and your girls stand a better fighting chance than you and 5 guys?
No, I'm just saying that it's highly overemphasized the need
Protection
to
thing,
protect,
right? Because that doesn't really happen
Because
much.
it-
Yeah, but the thing
and
it's
is,
a
if it
societal
does,
thing.
I'd sooner call boys on the street.
I think-
or
Excuse me.
military.
I
Okay,
think
wait,
so.
no,
That's
no.
not-
I think
If
it's
it all
societal
comes in
thing.
and there's a guy and me, like I said, we go half and half. Because if my guy is stronger than me, taller than me, more muscular than me, then physically he'll have more
Yeah.
advantage over me. Now there's certain things I could do. I could stab them with my nails. I could
Your
do something.
heels?
Snap your hair.
nails.
Let's go.
Listen,
you know,
I
so
like
it's all
that,
about
but
where and
that's-
how and the situation. Really.
Yeah, I like
but
that, but
generally,
that's-
this.
that's like
Do you know what? Yeah,
for
go on.
a few women, like most women, right, are not violent. They are not the type to put themselves in those kind of situations.
No,
in
but
fact,
if you
You
understand,
guys will say that when it's
No,
not
no,
you're
no,
being
no, no,
psychotic
no,
to
no,
you.
no,
When
no,
she's not being
no.
psycho
is-
to you. Oh, she's not
but
violent.
the truth
when
is
it's
that,
not-
like I said, like there's
Shadi,
exceptions.
in any of your like goals in life,
Yeah.
do you want to be strong?
No.
Is it? It's not an inherent value for you to
Exactly.
get
Well, what do
stronger.
you mean
Like,
to get
wait,
strong?
no,
What do you
let's
mean
let's just talk
strong?
about
To
it's
get
fine.
strong,
Yeah.
in what way? Like,
Yeah.
to
Physically
what
strong.
end?
Physically
Of
strong.
course.
Okay.
I want to
So
lift weights. I want to be
Yeah.
buff.
okay, you want to be,
Yes.
but like
Buff
life hasn't
buff mom.
made you, forced you to be strong. Like,
That's why we
wait,
have
wait.
such handy tools
okay,
like this.
so now you're finding like an avenue to in order to like you're not strong, so you need something else, right?
Yes.
So okay, so ultimately we still need to protect ourselves.
Yes.
all of
So-
us are to protect
And
ourselves.
there
Let's
are
just say
like,
that.
would you say, okay, you know what? Let's zoom out for a bit. I think when this conversation turns to an argument, it's like when you hyper focus on one traditional
Yeah.
value and you're like, that guy has to do that. So when you say he has to provide, it's like, well, I could provide as well. He has to protect. You want to defend and say, well, we are
Like, that's my thing, though.
But like, I feel like truth has to be absolute if we're just speaking objectively.
That's my
right?
thing.
So it has to be like the traditional values from today were the traditional values like around in the prehistoric caveman eras as well. Because I feel like the role of the man came out of necessity, not choice.
Yeah.
In Ukraine right now, right, there are no women on the streets
Nope.
dying to fight for their country.
Nope.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like the men are gonna die to defend that peace.
No,
but now
there's something
if-
wrong with it if we're coming from the view of feminism. There's something wrong with that. Women are
I mean,
supposed to be
feminism,
fighting.
I would
Wait,
say
there's
that
some
there's
women
nothing
who
wrong
are in
with
the
it.
army.
Wait, remember
there are, but it's
what
predominantly
feminism
men.
is, and
Yeah,
you
but
said
that's
equality,
fine. But
right?
you
there's
know
still
what?
women in
I
the
will-
army.
Yeah, but they evacuated the women and children
First.
first.
I would
Yeah.
say.
No, but I
That's
mean,
fine.
we're talking about the army. There are women in the army, right?
No, of course. But I'm saying
Yeah,
right now
some.
in Ukraine,
No,
It's
okay,
predominantly
Ukraine,
men.
Okay,
yeah.
you're
Dying on
not
the streets
forced
right now.
to sign
Yeah,
up to fight.
yeah.
But do you know what? Even as a feminist, I'll say that makes complete sense to
I
me.
think it's maybe biological
does
as
it
well.
make
Yeah,
sense?
because
Why?
if you say men
women
alone,
Fantastic.
how
watch the
does
kids,
Fantastic.
society
whatever.
continue?
fantastic. So that's what I'm saying. I
Will
don't
you
feel
men take
like
care of the kids?
I don't
Yeah.
think it was
Who-
an
who
objective
makes
decision that was
the guy
done by
out
men.
there?
I think it's
it's
a biological
was-
thing
yeah,
to
I
have.
Hold on,
think-
hold on. So you guys are saying now
without
that.
the guy,
With all the sperm banks here, if all the guys die down,
He's
don't
been
worry.
so chill.
So you guys are saying that when it comes to war and when it's time for danger and
Yes,
death,
no.
that's when men are supposed to be men. Men should die.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
And
Well,
then,
men
and
should
then
die.
women are the ones
I'm a
that should
sociologist,
stay back
so
and
We
take care of
cannot
children.
stay back
is-
without men. We need men and women. in
Yeah,
this
Yeah,
world.
do
we
what?
need both.
We need men and women. We're the
Exactly,
balance.
so
How
why
can I
can't
have
they-
my kid
so why
without a
can't-
man?
so
How
why
can I
can't
grow
men
my
and women
child
be in the
without?
army?
society, I don't think men alone can do it. It needs to be
You need
women
men
and
Of course,
and
of
women.
course, of
It's
course,
a
of
balance.
course.
At the end of the
Because
day,
with
yeah.
the children, there will be boys that will grow
Yeah.
up to be men
Yeah.
that can continue society.
yeah, and then there'll be girls.
So
born
just to
into
go
society.
back, we're going back to your point. The whole reason I went on this tangent is because you said, "Well, why do I need a man to protect me?" sort of thing. That's
mean,
essentially what
no,
you
you
said.
don't need
And now
someone to
you've accepted that.
protect
Yeah, I
You
mean,
I don't need
ultimately,
you
if we need
you
to
guys,
defend.
you guys are the ones like
somebody.
causing the whole war.
Oh,
I don't need you. I
Wait,
don't
wait,
need
you
you
wait,
to
shut-
protect me from what you started.
Okay, Sade, let's just like take like one point. Like let's not take one point and then shoot
Well,
into
wait,
the
wait,
next,
something
to the
is-
next, to the next
something
branch.
is we don't like if I'm in a moment of danger.
Yeah.
I can try to. That's why we do self-defense class. I can try to protect myself. If a guy is there, he can help me. We can fight the guy off together. But that doesn't devalue the fact that you don't need someone like in your life to have a partner or something, or to have that counterbalance or something at some
For
point.
me, I feel like it's so
You know?
like it like excludes so many people because protect or provide. Because
You know,
there's so many men that cannot
As a guy-
protect.
or provide.
Yeah, so does that mean you're not a guy or you're not worthy of
That's
love?
the point.
right
That's
now,
the point.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So-
that's what he said.
Yeah, that's the
about-
point.
That's what
Like,
he said.
this is the thing, right?
Real
the
man-
kind of men.
That's what's real.
Yeah.
What's
kind
a
of
real
men-
A
man?
real man protects and provides.
So if you have an accident tomorrow,
A traditional man.
A traditional
if you have an
man,
accident
sorry.
tomorrow
Provides,
and then
right.
you're paralyzed or you cannot work for any
That's
reason.
different. That's
Guys.
different.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking
No,
about.
Okay, so
You
so
have
Shade,
a
so
man that cannot
like, so
provide.
what type of guy do you want? Like, is protecting you something that,
Paramount.
like, okay, cool. Would you want a guy that could bring something to the table and provide in the case that you have children? You know, wait,
Yeah.
pause. Like, you want to take some time off work, you need to recover. You got the guy who's got that, and your value of life is not going to decline. Do you also want a guy who can protect you if push comes to shove and you're outside, or would you like? Is this something that you would want from a partner? All
Yeah,
these
yeah,
traditional
that is-
stereotypes. Is this something that you would look
Like
for in a
if,
guy?
obviously, if I'm
Is it
being
attractive?
threatened by a bigger
No,
person.
Then
don't mock it. Don't mock it. Let's be real.
No, I'm
Like,
being
do
real.
you want that?
Like, if
Is
I'm
that
being
okay?
threatened by a bigger person, then and my boyfriend is bigger, help me.
What if your
Please.
boyfriend is
Please
not
help
big?
me.
No, what if your what if
Let
your
me tell
boyfriend is not as big as the person who wants
That's
to
what
have
I'm
you?
saying.
Let me tell you
That's why I have
something.
pepper spray.
One of the
No, then what? Then you want your boyfriend to at least have the pool or the resources in order to like
Yes, it would be
to,
nice to have.
fill in for that. Because
I
there's
think
guys
it
that
would be nice
they're
to
not
have.
strong, but they have bodyguards.
It's nice to have
You know,
that. That
maybe
doesn't
he
mean
ticks
that
that.
it's the only thing you need. in life.
Exactly.
It's nice to have it. Why
If
not?
I don't have it,
you
I would
want a
still be
woman,
fine.
she wants a man.
You'll still
and
be
then
fine.
that's about it.
Yes.
Okay, but there's nothing wrong with men
Nothing
aspiring to
wrong.
be
Why
that.
No,
not?
obviously not.
Okay.
So,
I-
so, so
Why
as
not?
a woman, like,
yeah,
would you,
like protect me.
yeah, exactly. Like, as a woman,
Nice.
you wouldn't be attracted to a guy that cannot provide and protect, right?
Biologically,
False.
is it?
No,
Biologically.
you know what? You know what?
Maybe.
In modern society, that's not necessarily true.
Because
However,
now-
you would
Yeah.
be more attractive to a more competent guy in those areas.
Biologically,
But it's
yeah.
not saying you couldn't like a guy who wasn't. No, I don't. The provide part, you're
have
not
a
going to date a
question.
broke boy. I don't think any of you are going to
I
date
have
broke
a
boys.
question. Hot take.
No,
You want to date a broke boy. So the providing thing has to be there.
But you know
But
what?
maybe the
It's not
protection
necessarily
thing,
about
maybe he's not
providing
too
for
strong.
me.
Guys,
Compromise.
there's a
Like,
hot
provide
take
for
I
yourself,
have.
provide for, like, let there be space for us to do things in the relationship. Let's be able to
Hot
plan for our
take.
future.
Yeah.
But it's not like, buy me bone straight today, buy me Lexus tomorrow.
But most
Like,
most
just-
girls have that mentality.
Most girls.
Yeah, like
Most girls.
80%. I think
Society.
all
Lagos girls.
Society.
Okay, guys,
Girls.
you know what? Yeah.
Society.
But there's a hot take. I have a
Alright, go on,
question.
go on.
Talking about traditional values. Now we're in the era where more people, these people were already there before and now. So talking about people with other sexualities, they're not in traditional relationships. This is a very hot take.
Yeah.
So before, there were always the gays, lesbians, and whoever it is you want. But now it's more out there. So that's not a traditional thing.
Some of them
So in
still
order
work.
to narrow it,
I'm
yeah.
neutral, right?
Yeah.
But then you have the couples where both women, both men. So
Yeah.
Who's
That's
providing for
So
who?
do you know what? Do you
You
know
know?
what? As opposed to like
protecting
who
who?
you're dating and your like how you describe your sexual preference, right? Let's just talk about like let's just try and define what that traditional man and woman were in like the days of old in terms of their roles in society. Let's try and see if we can narrow down on
okay,
that.
like women could not.
So we're
sign
gonna go
checks.
around. So you give your point and we'll just take it around.
Like
that,
women in a very man society, like work. A lot of men were working. Women couldn't have
No,
bank
in a
accounts.
traditional society.
Yeah, like in back
Okay.
40, 50, 60 years ago, not a lot of women could sign checks or have bank accounts. Not a lot of women could be doctors.
Yes.
Not a lot of women. I'm not, again, this is not a take of denouncing men. Men are important in the society.
Do you know what? As opposed to
we
saying what they couldn't do, can you tell us what they could do?
As a woman,
Yeah.
stay at
What
home
were their
and be a
roles
mom.
in? What are their roles in society?
Cook, clean, and
Yeah,
something.
that was the basics of what we know. Then, of course, there were so many eras where, you know, people could go out, whatever. We're not talking about that, but that was the basic thing. You could be a mom and do certain other jobs. But why, like, I still want to go back to what we couldn't do. Like, why can't we be doctors?
Okay.
Why couldn't we sign checks? Why couldn't I be in Wolf Street
I think
as a woman?
modernization
Up,
plays a
up
part in
until
that.
now, in
think
certain places, women can't acquire properties themselves.
Yeah, a woman can
Up
drive.
until
Why
now.
was that
Up
the
in-
case?
where?
Why
Where's
couldn't
Up
we-
until
Where's
now.
that? Where's that?
If
In-
I think
in
if
the
I have
east,
to go and
yeah,
rent
in
a
the
house
West
for
here
myself now
also.
in
In the
Lagos,
east, what in
or I would
Nigeria?
have to
Yeah, in
go there.
Nigeria.
In
A
some
woman can't buy
countries-
a house in,
You can't
in
acquire
Nigeria in
property.
2023.
If I have to go and rent a house now,
Some
I'll go with
countries-
my man.
You have to go with a man.
No, I'm not because they will
no.
accord me more respect. I'm most likely rent it to me.
Bro,
Yeah.
respect, that's another topic. Can a woman, is
woman,
there
where
any
does the
place
respect
in
come from?
Nigeria right now that a woman cannot
Traditionally,
purchase a property?
I'm sure there are.
Come on, now, tell me. Like, that's
now-
don't say I'm
now,
sure
I
there
don't
are.
think so.
Like, yes or no?
I have another one.
That's
And
a
this
big
is
alley.
me
That's a
trying
big thing to say.
Nigeria is not Lagos. This is me trying to say
Word.
there's a bunch of states where
She's
weird
right.
things happen.
She I actually know somebody
sure
that
that
wanted to
people-
buy a property, and then she had to bring a guy that she had to claim was her husband
What's
to be able
that?
to get the property.
Just to get a
Wait.
property.
I
Was
mean,
it
you cannot
because
rent
they
without
were
a man. Can
accosted
you
more
buy-
respect, or the guy said, "I'm not selling the property
I'm not
to a
going
woman"?
to
Because they
Is
can't
that what?
sell
Is that
property
what?
to a
Either way,
woman.
it's still like the same thing, right?
Guys, do you
How
know
do you
that
make
in
this
the
money?
states, in the
Yeah.
states, if I want to tie my tubes, they need a man, or they need to know something about having this man thing, kids thing, that I need someone else's signature to tie my
Your
tubes.
womb?
Yes, to tie the tube, not womb, just to tie my
Like
I don't
a
have
female
fallopian
vasectomy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
Like,
this can
why
be
why
reversed.
do I need a
It's
man
a- it's a
to have
reversible
that?
process.
There are
consent.
some places
Okay,
in
it's
the States that-
reversible.
Yeah, you can
No,
tie
no,
your
I-
tubes.
I don't-
Yeah, so
I
why
don't
do you need the
understand.
signature of someone else
Yeah,
when
to
it's me
consent.
and you? This is an example.
Yeah.
An example.
Yeah.
So, but do they ask for, if a man is going for vasectomy, do they ask for
I
the
don't-
signature
they
of
know,
the...
See,
no.
let me tell you where the problem is, right? First of all, these are observations, right? These are not personally how I feel, but this is how the world just works. The world is a very dangerous place. And for you to be able to survive and win and thrive, you don't necessarily need to have good values. You have to be very ruthless. You have to be very violent sometimes.
So you can beat
You have to be
natural
very
selection and
aggressive.
whatnot.
Yeah, and you see all those traits are usually traits that men have. Women don't really like generally have those kind of traits. That's the reason why men are the ones that empower. That was the point you were making, that is men that cause the wars. There's no other person that can cause those things, because when people come to your land and challenge you, it's not the women that come out to fight, it's the men that come
Okay,
out to
but
fight.
that's not-
Your head is so there.
Yeah,
and
you go.
and we were
That's
just
not
about
the
to get into
subject.
that.
Yeah,
We're
But
just
that's
about
not
to get
the
into that.
subject. The subject, what was this? Initial question?
Traditional.
Traditional. It's not
yeah.
about
values.
women going out
Yeah,
to
so
fight.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go into that. So let's go around the table. Olumide, what would you describe as? Oh, you didn't give us the traditional man. You only said women. So the traditional man's
Feminism.
roles in society.
Well, I think we've already established that. That is the main one, no?
Protect and
Protecting,
provide.
protect and provide.
provide.
Women is to nurture.
Okay, awesome.
But I'm more than nurturing. That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
awesome.
You
Alright,
can
go on.
protect and
So
provide too.
when
No, I can actually work and get some money.
Yeah, that's
All right,
providing.
Olumide, let's go. Yeah.
all right, for traditional, right? What comes to mind as an African guy is the man goes out, the woman stays back. The man goes to the farm, he goes to the sea to fish. The woman cooks whatever he brings home, be it crops or be it animals, bushmeat, or fish. So I think traditionally that's set,
Division
cast in
of labor.
stone.
It makes so much
Yeah.
sense.
And it works. But now, bringing it to the modern parts, both men and women work, come home, dissect what to eat.
For
you know.
example, is it bad? For example, let's say we're a couple
Okay.
and then I cook 5 times a week for us as a couple because I'm happy to do that. But what about there are 2
You're a
days that
lucky
I
man,
can't
Olumide.
cook?
No,
lucky man.
no problem.
No, what would you cook for us for those 2 days?
Oh yeah, like in my
Okay,
family,
that's a
like
balance.
I remember my GS3 holiday, like I think it was 6 months. My mom taught me how to cook. She actually went to Abuja and she told me, "Look, guy, before you get married, you need to know how to cook." These are like personal values. You know, like my
So
mom
that's
instilled in me.
amazing. Like
So
in
she
my
taught
family,
me how to
yeah.
cook yam, rice, jollof rice, fried rice, like basic soups, vegetable,
Also-
efo, egusi, and all that.
As an hybrid man that you claim to be, do you think you can step in for your wife in certain times,
Of
like
course.
waking, getting the kids ready for school?
Yes, I can because I've been trained that way.
Period. You
I've been
see,
trained.
I love
I think-
that.
I think-
what
No,
I hear,
yeah.
that
here's
doesn't
the
mean
hybrid
I'm not a
is
man.
he
That
can
doesn't
do
mean
all
I'm a
these things,
traditional
but would
man.
rather not do them.
You get that doesn't mean I'm not a traditional man because before I get married, I'm a bachelor first. Nobody
we
will
go.
do all those
So-
things
I'm
for
a
me.
bachelor.
So guys, this is my take, right? My take is the idea of the traditional man has been warped by the modern day feminist. I believe the traditional man was competent in all fields. I believe he was the guy that could cook for himself. He wasn't just waiting for a woman to come around and make food for him. No, I believe he was self-sufficient. He would also raise and nurture those children. Do you know that women died in childbirth?
Yep.
Predominantly women used to die a lot in childbirth. So what happens to
That
the
is
family?
not to denounce
like his
that
whole
some men-
empire, his whole cattle, his sheep, his crops, his children, he would have to manage that by himself or find another wife.
why men get married in 3 business
that's
days
why
after their wife dies.
ultimately that's why there was more
That's why their
polygamy
sisters
Yeah,
will step
back in the
Back in
day
the
as
day.
well,
Oh,
because
what?
women used to die in childbirth and then stuff like
Look,
that as well.
look.
But
3
let's move
business
on.
days. He's
No,
married.
wait.
What?
To say something. There are women who die and there are men who take the roles of mothers. And that's an amazing role you can do. Just the way that there's some women where the men die or men leave and they watch over the kids and they are a great father model to them. So just because there's a traditional, it's a stereotype, that doesn't denounce
any of the men who actually have to mother their kids. You know what I mean? So this can coexist. There
Yeah.
are
I agree with you.
traditional things.
Both
We all
worlds
know
can
that
coexist.
in an African household,
Yeah.
the woman has been cooking. But that doesn't mean that there aren't men who didn't cook. But it's the minority, the
No,
majority.
what I'm saying is the
stereotype.
modern day feminists will have you believe that the man is not competent in those fields.
Well, that's a modern
that he
feminist.
can't cook, he can't clean. But so do you agree with that?
That's-
That's not.
No,
That's
I think
not.
that's
No,
the
that
type
is
of guy we are
modern.
fighting against. We want the guys who can cook and can
Like he
clean
can cook,
and
but then I can
provide
do it.
and
Yeah.
like he's a well-rounded
That's
person.
because that's not what feminism is all
It's
about.
not about
actually.
exactly. It's
No.
not about
don't-
women going on marches and burning their
Can we-
underwear.
So I agree with
Can
Mizzle. We
we-
want the
no.
competent men. We don't want the dregs of
Like everyone should be
society.
capable
Exactly.
of doing what they can to take care of themselves, because that is what your living is about. Like an animal is born and it has to learn certain things for
Has to fend for
survival
himself.
instincts. So each of us should have that.
Like you
I
take care of
cannot
yourself
wash
as a
my,
bachelor. You
and
look
Okay.
good enough to
and
pull a
everything.
babe.
Cool. Let's move on to
Changes.
let's move on Sade then. Let's try and go around. Go on.
Question.
What's a traditional man?
No, yeah, traditional man, traditional woman. If you could describe it in your own words.
Traditional man, I think, would be the one that provides for the family and protects them and makes decisions for the family. He's the head of the house.
Makes decisions for the family.
Yes.
So he has authority
Yes,
over his
that's a
family.
traditional. That's a traditional
Awesome.
man.
Yeah.
Right. To be fair, he's spending all the money, so
It comes
he
with
should.
it.
Yeah, he comes with it. He should make the decisions for or of how the money is spent. A traditional woman, obviously, she might work because. Never say. Yeah, she might work like some petty, but she doesn't have to. She takes care of the family, of the children, and just make sure that the man's life is a little easier when he comes home.
Yep.
Yeah,
Alright.
so that's what it is.
Cool. Mizzle.
Yeah, no, that's great. But I personally think that everything is fucked up. I think that everything is fucked up right now.
Yeah.
No, let's start with that. Everything is fucked up right now because I honestly believe that from the way I observe society, I believe men really want to be men and women want to be women. Like men want to be traditional. Women also want to be traditional. But because of this new idea of feminism and identity politics, right? We are moving away from those traditional values. We're moving past the issues that we have and we're going into delusion, right? Because now women are trying to be, because of the fact that they've been treated very badly generally by men, which I agree with, but that's just the thing about control and power. When somebody's given the power, given authority, right, there's going to be a very large portion of those people that you've given that power that would try to oppress you and try to use you. That's why a lot of men feel like they have power over women, right? Is because of the results of what competent men have done. Women love to follow men that are competent, right? But because generally we know that men are supposed to have these roles, we now have some men that feel like it's their right to have women, it's their right to have power over women, right? So that's why everything is fucked up. That's why everything is fucked up. Now, men want to be traditional, but they can't because now they feel like they have to appease to this new thing. They have to be as woke as possible. And now women are trying to be more masculine than feminine.
Let's go back to some point. Identity crisis is different from feminism. Everyone is having an identity crisis
Identity
now.
politics,
It's an identity politics.
It's like
Identity
when
politics is-
like when someone comes down and says that, okay, yeah, I'm a feminist, and to be honest, people use that word.
And they have abused it.
Yeah,
Let's
they've
agree that
abused it. Yeah,
they've
there are
abused
very
it.
good feminists that are fighting for the right things, and then there are people that use that
They've
to just
abused it,
like
yeah.
shame men.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, which is not what
yeah,
it's about.
Yeah, like when they say
It's
things
not
about
shaming men.
toxic masculinity. I don't think there's anything about masculinity that is toxic.
No, toxic masculinity is when men can't cry. That is shame that they have mental health. That's toxic masculinity.
Yes, exactly. Like femininity can also, it has its toxic side.
Shade.
Yeah,
Just hold it.
feminine
Hold it
side.
inside.
Feminine sides can have toxic
She
sides.
tries
for
her best
example.
to hold it
No,
inside.
no, that's the thing. Both men and women have their toxic
Exactly.
sides.
So
Yeah.
what's toxic masculinity?
When you shame men for having normal things that humans do, mental
showing
health, for
emotion.
example.
Yeah.
Like it's only now that more people are saying that, okay, men actually are suffering, that they have no one to talk to.
No. That's the problem. That's the problem. We are trying to. That's why I'm saying that
So men
everything is
shouldn't cry.
fucked up. No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't cry.
Men shouldn't have mental health
That's what
problems.
I'm trying to.
There was
tell
a
you.
time in history that
Listen.
men
Yeah,
preferably
exactly.
shouldn't cry.
Exactly. And that
There
is
were times
wrong.
when men couldn't
And that
cry.
is- and that
And
is
no,
wrong.
so basically the problem of
That is
toxic
wrong.
masculinity is like now the traditional man moving into the modern era. Things have changed.
Yeah.
Bro, you're not at war every day. you can fucking cry, man.
Remember,
Go hug your brother.
remember.
But like, if you're on the battlefield, bro,
Remember.
you better man up right now. Nah, come on.
Remember their phrases like, "Oh, something happens.
Men
oh, you're
don't
man,
cry.
man up.
Yeah,
men don't do
I
that."
hate that
No,
statement.
no.
I hate
Yeah,
that.
but,
Men
but,
so
but do you
much.
accept there were times
Traditionally.
where they
Yes.
literally shouldn't cry?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
their
You
phrases
had to be
like,
more man.
you do
No, no,
something,
yes.
they'll be like, "Oh, why are you acting like a woman?"
Yes, that,
No,
and
you
I
guys-
hate that.
back in the
I
day,
hate that.
Emotions equal with
Death. I would even
Yes.
say death.
Yes.
Emotion,
It's not-
hesitation
and
for a
why?
man,
It's not
he would
only
die.
in the
I have a
day.
question. Why should emotion equal weakness? Why?
No, no, I
Why?
said
It
death.
was
No,
because-
even that. Why?
No, no,
Oh,
that's
okay.
how it
That's
was.
what
That's
it-
what it was.
That's how it
That's
was
what I'm
back
saying. The
then.
question for back then. Why? Isn't
No,
it?
no, no, because they were at
because
war.
men-
They were
men were
hunting.
seen-
No.
So
exactly,
they can't
men
have
were-
feelings while hunting.
No.
Okay, go.
I can't hunt, shoot a deer. Very I'm tired, but okay, no, I need to get this chicken for my wife. Let's go. No, but it's
There
more
are men
than
that
that.
did that, you
It's
know,
more
that
than that.
respected
but that's the
life.
thing.
Of,
If you
know,
do
kill an
that,
animal
if you
and
do
then
that, right,
apologize.
you are going to miss the deer over somebody
No,
that
let's say you
trained
miss
and
the
kept
deer
his
and you
mind
start
right,
crying and
right?
you bring the deer to your wife while crying. It's okay.
You know,
Why?
because-
I
Guys,
protest
guys, war is no joke, man.
No,
No,
war is
war
not
is
just
not
but
joke.
we're having a lot of
Life and death.
We're having a lot of topics
It's
right
not-
now, but
It's not even
bad.
about war. You guys don't understand that this thing you are trying to teach men to do, right? To teach them to be more vulnerable. and
Not
to
that-
teach
yes, everybody
wait,
should
hold
be
on, hold on. Let me
vulnerable.
make the
Come
point I'm
on.
trying to make, right? To teach them to be more vulnerable and to be more soft and to be more emotional. I get the points you're trying to make. You want men to open up more and not be so rigid. But what you need to understand is that you see that rigidity is
That
part of what,
stoicness.
yeah, it's part of what makes them great, competent men.
Okay, what if
Yeah.
a woman was stoic? What would you say?
No, no, what
She's
I would say,
She's a-
I would say she
She
could
is.
be
Wait,
more
women
stoic.
to be
But
stoic.
ultimately, if you look at
See,
it and you zoom into it, you know,
think
she's probably a
the
bit
crazy
more
thing.
masculine in terms
There's
of like
a
she
time-
might have like more testosterone.
No,
because
listen.
ultimately,
No.
ultimately, like in my experience, like generally speaking, like women on their periods, they're more prone to like hormonal imbalance.
Okay, yeah.
You know, that's
Men
a
are not like
female
that.
trait. Wait, chill, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
But
a
if you were
time
now
to
to tell a man that produces testosterone, a man that is naturally more aggressive than
you
a
wanna know
woman,
something?
chill, a man that's naturally more aggressive than women to express himself
Men
in
have
the way that
estrogen
women
too.
are allowed to, of course.
Yeah.
But in the way,
Salient
hold on a
tools.
second.
Salient.
In the way that women are allowed to express themselves.
Do you have
That is a
zero
dangerous
estrogen?
society.
No,
That's a
no.
very
Wait,
dangerous
wait,
society
wait,
of angry men
Yeah, you don't
like
want to have
acting
weak
out on
men.
their anger.
Exactly.
Do you
don't
have
want to have
estrogen?
It's
emotional men.
beneficial for men to be stoic.
Do you have
Yes.
estrogen?
Don't be emotional and act out.
Exactly. You shouldn't be an emotional man.
Think about it.
And
Think
then you
about
have
it.
No, you know,
children.
I actually do
Teddy.
not disagree.
Exactly.
Because
Teddy,
unfortunately for it's so weird. They say that women are more emotional, but
That's not the case. The problem
I
is-
highly
I think
disagree.
it's
No,
there's
men-
nothing wrong with that.
Men
No.
suppress.
That's
I think-
why.
Do you
No.
know that anger
Why?
is an emotion?
Yeah, men suppress more.
It is.
Men
Men are
are not-
angry. Men are
As a-
mean
as a-
sometimes.
So-
why
see, this-
do you
at
think
every
men are more
point
angry?
in
Okay,
a
guys,
man's
let's
life,
talk one at a time. Let's do one
at
at a
every
time.
point in a man's life, he's always being emotional. Whether it's to be
Emotion is not just sad or
Yeah,
whatever.
there's a whole range of emotions. that
Emotions,
men
everything.
always are.
Happiness is an emotion.
No.
Why are you happy?
Okay, but you know what I would say? I would say the message that gets passed to men is master your emotions.
Who's passing it?
Everybody should
No, I would
master
say,
their
I would say,
emotions.
I would say, my dad would say to me, "Hey,
a fellow
it's
man.
not toxic.
That's
no,
why
yeah,
we're
a fellow
fighting
man."
the patriarchy.
And I said, no. My
Because
dad,
it's not beneficial to
Hey,
everybody.
listen to what I said. I said my dad would tell me to master your emotions.
Mm-hmm. Everybody
He didn't
should
say
master
don't
it.
be emotional. He said
Everybody
master it.
should
And I
master
feel like that's
it.
that's when that competent man is. He's the guy that can.
But then he'll tell your
he's the
sister,
guy
"Oh,
that
sorry,
can-
my dear."
He's the
Yes.
guy
So
that
what's the
can
point?
kill the arm robber
Yeah,
right
no,
now, then
competent
turn around
Let me
and
hold
grab his
you,
baby
yeah,
and
I'll
kiss his
cuddle,
baby and say, "Oh my
yeah.
God, I did it for you, baby,"
No,
and then
listen.
run.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect balance, and it's
let me-
difficult. Not all men can do that, but I think we hold men to higher accountability. Like,
Bro,
bro,
see, that's the thing.
master your emotions, because if he doesn't master his emotions, he's bigger than you. He's stronger than you. In a domestic situation with a guy that can't master his
Exactly,
emotions,
when you
that's
have-
going to
I'm
lead
not- I'm not
to
sure.
abuse.
A friend of mine
That's
was
domestic
told-
violence.
She wants,
Yeah.
she wants,
Am I wrong? That's domestic violence.
A friend of mine once gave me this example. Sorry to cut you off. Of his mom was alone in the house with the children, young kids, and the dad had traveled for work or something like that. And then robbers came, and she had to defend the house. So like they were trying to get in through the like burglary, and the only thing she could think of was like, "Oh, there's lights. Let's get an extension." And then she somehow wrapped it around the thing. So as the guys tried to break in, they just and then she will still go right after to care for her children, and obviously distressed to hear or see or experience such a very distressing thing. So I don't think it's exclusive to
Guys,
men.
I think that people have been looking at
That
it.
shows brain power.
So
smart.
that is what
That is it.
Do you know
The
how
con-
many
the
years that
conversation.
people have
Yeah.
thought that women do not have brain
no,
power?
trust me. In
No one said
terms of
that.
danger,
No one
it's
said
not-
that. No one on this panel said
No,
that.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying
No one
to
on this
say,
panel said
coming
that.
from
Scientifically,
that,
right?
Yeah.
Women advance more than men.
Yes, younger
Like,
ages they are
brain-wise,
faster
like,
to
It depends on
developing.
the area.
it's pressure.
No,
it's
depends on the
pressure.
area.
I'm speaking
It's
in
pressure.
Nigeria now because we're in
You have to be
Nigeria,
more
right?
mature.
Yeah, women, their brains develop more than men, faster than men, not more.
Their
Faster than
brains.
men.
Yeah.
You're right. So in that scenario, she thought of something that the man would not,
No.
maybe won't come to
No.
his mind
But
at
there's
that
something
time.
I have
Wait,
to
so-
say
sorry,
that
sorry.
will really
At that
debunk all
time-
of this.
Yeah.
That we're having the discussion about traditional men and our differences, but at the end of the day, mastering your emotions should be applied to me and you. There are some women that are in certain fields
Positions
that
of power
that
where
man you
Sir,
say
yeah.
They need
you
to.
are.
They need to control their emotions.
Yeah, I said
I
that.
just want to back that up.
Yeah.
It's a human thing.
So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and I need both of you to verify. For me, I think women are the best at mastering their emotions because they have 3 weeks of
Chaos.
chaos, and they just have 1 week to be human and be themselves. And I think, or I believe that the best set of human out of the two genders are women that are women because they know how to master their emotions. Through that 3 weeks, they have family to cater to. The ones who have jobs and have to manage other set of people still have to manage these people, and still they're going through this pain and all of this. And you're saying women can't control their emotions
I
as
disagree.
Let him finish.
No, that's what
I want to get
yeah,
this
yeah,
actually
yeah.
because me and this guy have been fighting about this for a
That
minute.
is why
I wanna
there are
get
two
this guy.
I want to
women.
say
Yeah.
something about this. In my field, I work in hospitality mainly. I work with a lot of men, and I've been still working with men, and at no point of time did they tell me I'm emotional or this. If anything, I feel among. They don't make me feel like you're a woman, you can this, you can do this. Sometimes they go like, I carry a lot of things. I'm someone who's very active. Like I like to carry, lift heavy stuff. They're like, no, let him do it. I'm like, no, it's okay. But it's fine. Like I'll give him to this. Okay, if you want to do it, you can assist me. But at this point, I think I'm very competent as a person. So really what I've been trying to say this entire time, it's not about women, men. It's about the common stuff, competency. Like are we,
Common sense.
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah,
do
are you
have,
on the
common
same
sense
page?
is not common.
It's not common.
No, it's not common.
It's not
so
common.
as a woman, yes, I have my moments where I'm not proud of emotionally, but that's not at work. In my house, I can do whatever the hell I want. I can be upset, I can cry, but I have my own way of mastering emotions. So this doesn't mean that every woman might master, just the way not every man can master their emotions.
Yeah.
Some women may not be able to have boundaries. So the subject here is not woman or man, is boundaries. Some men may need to know when to be emotional. So I don't expect you when you're shooting that deer to be crying. When you come back home, and let's say you're a doctor, you're a man doctor, and you happen to have a surgery and the person passed away and you're sad about it, which you're in your private space, not to say that you take that sadness and kill another
Exactly.
patient, but
Exactly.
you know, it's okay to say, you know what, babe, I had a tough day today at
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Let me.
But would
add
you
to
like a
that.
guy that was crying all the
No,
time?
no. That's
I
the
just
thing.
I don't want
A
a
girl
girl
that's
that's
crying all the
Oh, you
time.
don't want a
Would you
girl.
like- would
So-
you like a woman
So
that's
you want
crying
to
all the
a guy
time?
as well?
Nobody
So,
wants
yeah.
somebody that's
That's
crying all the time.
Yeah,
me-
so
let
I
me-
disagree with that point as
let
well.
me let me
So
answer
she's-
that.
No, you said like women are better than men at handling their emotions
handling
because
emotions.
they
Yeah,
have
I
a period.
feel.
No, I say both of us.
believe
Depends
it.
on
I think
the
if I said, "Hey, men are better than women at handling emotions," I think people would come at me. I don't think we should
I
say.
think-
I don't think we
he's
should
right.
say.
No.
I don't think.
Sorry.
No, I think what he's trying to say is that with all the chaos, we
With
are
all the
still
chaos they go
seeing.
through.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
we
Because
both
sorry.
If you're working with a woman, she's not going to snap at you every
Because I
single
have
day,
seen-
even though she
I have
has
seen-
something
I
every
have
day,
seen
most
a
likely.
lady-
I think that's
I
completely
have
wrong
seen-
to
I
say
have-
that women handle their emotions better
Sorry,
than men.
Alex.
No,
just
he's
a
saying
minute.
we're
something
right.
you can
Wait.
quantify.
And I don't think we
Just
should
a
even say
minute.
who handles it more.
Just
But I
a
think
minute.
objectively, for you to
See,
come outright say women
Wait.
handle their emotions more than men,
Wait
that's
now,
wrong.
Brother me.
That-
Calm
No,
down.
let
Calm
me
down.
defend
Brother.
defend your point.
This is it. I have seen a woman on a period and I could not stand it.
Why are you
Obviously,
feeling for
yeah.
the
Me
woman?
too, I can't
Why are you
stand
feeling for the
myself.
woman?
This is someone going through
Empathy.
But why are you feeling for the
No,
woman?
I love an
Listen,
Empathy.
Yes,
Listen, this is
It's
someone
giving, it's
going
giving
through-
pick
How
me
is she
vibes,
she was on a
guys.
period?
it's given and she says it.
It's
It's
giving. I
giving.
want to be chosen.
She gave simp.
It's
She
given
came to
we're
work.
choosing
It's
him.
giving sim-
Hold on. She came to
No, I
work
love you
that
though.
morning. She came to work that morning and everything was fine. And next thing, it was from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I've been there. We've
right,
been there.
And right after she reached that 100, she came back to 0, and it was like, wait,
All of
you
us.
you just went through all of this,
My
and you
boyfriend
still have
says,
to
if I'm upset, just
do
feed
this.
me. Just
What?
feed me. Give me food if I'm upset.
Okay, I want to add to the points
Yeah.
that you made, right? This is still where the problem comes from. We're talking about what a lot of men are learning from the current situation of things, the way people put out information and the way feminists are portraying the way they want men to be, right?
Why are we
Saying that
still talking about feminism?
no, because it's important
Trigger.
because it's feminists that are
Soft
trying
spot,
to
therapist.
sell this notion that men should be more emotional, they should feel more vulnerable. But what men are not, when men hear that message, what they think, especially men,
They think it's crying.
no, exactly. They think that,
Which is
oh,
not,
wow,
yeah.
it's cool for me to be emotional. It's cool for me to be vulnerable. Especially men that have not found themselves, that have not developed themselves.
Like
They
back
feel
to
like
the doctor who, let's say, the patient passed
Yeah.
away.
yeah, exactly. They feel like all they have to do is to make a woman like them, especially, or to be competent, is to become more vulnerable. But that's not helping men. You guys are not attracted to men.
You guys,
Right.
I
No,
am
it's
a
true.
woman.
But
I
it's
am
true.
standing.
Well,
on the
tell
hill.
us what we are
You're
attracted
not like
to.
No, it's the truth.
no, but
It's
it's
the
true. You're
truth.
not
It's the
attracted
truth.
to men that are very, very vulnerable. What you're attracted to is a very competent man that is
Are
usually
you attracted
stoic.
to a competent woman?
Hold on.
Of course.
Let
Wait,
me finish. Let me finish.
You're very attracted to a man that is usually stoic, but sometimes, right, when it is an emotional situation, he shows that emotion. That's what you're trying to say.
So you're
But
attracted to
what-
women that are entirely
Crying all the time,
emotional.
except
No, that's not what
10%
I'm saying. It's
stoic.
about
So,
no.
reverse
This is
the
about
roles,
this is
baby.
no.
Are you
This
guys listening to his point? Actually,
Yeah.
are you just trying to like take a piss now?
Like you said,
I'm saying
it's
that,
not just
that's,
only
being
emotions,
emotional
right?
all the time is not an attractive
But
trait
how
to
do you
anyone.
know
it's not.
No,
It's not
exactly,
even
exactly.
gender.
I agree.
trying to say.
If
I agree.
anybody,
That's what I'm
not
saying.
male.
That's
Okay,
or
so-
female.
I'm
You
trying
can
to say.
always come
That's
and
what I'm
cry.
trying
It's
to
not
say.
about gender. It's about
no.
that's what I'm saying. The common thing is not gender. The common thing or the different thing is not gender.
Handle
It's
your shit.
you know, like, or let's constructively work through the
Yes,
situation.
I understand
you know,
that, but
as
I'm
men,
saying,
women, they,
that
them.
the
Yeah, yeah,
general
100%.
message, like I'm just making an observation, right? The general message, if you check online, when you see the conversation about what feminists are saying, how they want their men to be, you hardly hear a feminist say, "I want a strong man that is competent and stoic." That's not what they say.
No, I
They
think-
say-
But we're talking about
what they
I would
Feminism,
argue that
not
that's actually what
women.
they say.
Yeah, that's what
I
we're
would argue
saying.
that's what
We
they're
just
saying.
want a guy that
they'll
is
say a
more
strong
open
man-
with his
they'll say a
emotions.
strong
Not
man
more
should be
emotional,
vulnerable.
they
more
all say.
open
That's-
with your
That
emotions.
passes the wrong
Wait, hold on a
message
second.
to men.
Emotions.
When
Yeah.
you say
I think
a
let's
strong
not
man,
use the extreme feminist as an
Wait, wait,
example.
wait, no, no,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
wait,
extreme.
wait,
Yeah.
complete that sentence.
Yeah.
When you want a strong man.
when what extreme feminists say, and what you need to understand is on social media, on the news, is always the extreme that people get, that gets people's attention, right? What they say is a strong man should be vulnerable. You know, they want to say a muscular man that is in control of everything vulnerable.
That is not
right.
Olumide.
Yeah, but that's
Whoa, whoa.
but that's the thing. The reason why I'm raising this is that it's not about what women are experiencing. I'm talking about what young men are thinking when they
I mean,
see
yeah,
when they see
everyone.
all these messages, right? When they see these things, the message they are getting from you is that, okay, right, for me to be competent, I just have to cry. I have to
Yeah.
make sure that when
No,
I'm
both
feeling
men
weak,
and women have their own things for expectations
Mezzo,
that people
Mezzo.
have.
Yeah, guys, we need to wrap
Mezzo,
up now.
Mezzo,
So
as a young man,
let's just quickly.
what do you get from that message?
what do
You
I
see-
get
yeah,
personally?
what- yeah, personally.
No, personally, this is what I understand from what I think women are looking for right now. Women are looking for partners. Yeah, they are looking for partners, right? They're looking for partners that can lead. That's what they want. They want a partner that can lead. Women are extremely attracted to a man, a competent man that can lead them in the right direction, right? So the problem is that there are so many incompetent men that mask themselves as competent men, right?
And just
so,
the way some incompetent women mask themselves as competent
yeah,
women.
but let him
Yeah,
finish his point.
exactly,
Like,
like-
When you
yeah.
finish that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there are men that come out and maybe they have money, but they don't have all the other traits of a competent man, right? And then society tries to make you look like once you have money, once you have
That you're
this,
a competent man.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are competent. And a lot of women also fall
Get
for
that
things
messed
like
up.
that.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, guys. So we're actually
one
doubling.
last question.
Yeah.
So that is what you think women want in men. What do you want in a woman?
What do I want in a woman? I personally would like I said, cooperation. Like we have to be together in a situation where I feel like we are partners, but you
Tell you to shut up and sit down.
I was
we are
waiting to say
partners. We are
that.
partners. Like there are areas where you lead. there are some things you know about that I don't know about.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I to sit down and shut the fuck
Of course, there's some situations where you can tell me to sit down, shut the fuck up, and I will.
Guys, no. Wait, answer your point because we need to move on.
Yeah, but like what I would be attracted to is somebody that I can be very, very cooperative with. Cooperation comes with like I said, like it's the roles. Like when we are together, we know that okay, this is my responsibility. When we're approaching a topic where I don't know anything about it and you know about it, you're the one that leads
Perfect, yeah.
in that kind of situation. But when it comes to real life stuff, like okay, when it comes to protection and providing, it's normal for me to be the one that takes that position.
All right.
She has to validate
Awesome.
me and make me
Okay,
feel
for the
good
sake
doing
of
it.
time, we need to wrap up soon, and we haven't even gotten to talk about like modern men and women. This is crazy. So what I'm gonna
having a
do
great
is
time.
we're gonna just I want to really just pick your brain about something before we move into the next topic. Now, people are like, you know, there's a disparity in between like opportunities in society, right? And I think we're all against that. Personally, I believe in equality of opportunity, but I definitely believe because of the differences between men and women, there's a difference in the outcome, right? Yeah. There is no equality in outcome. However, there's equality in opportunity. Yeah. So to wrap up the point that we're talking about men and women being different and more emotional or less emotional, you said they work 3 weeks out of a month, and then 1 week is like them being human. Ultimately, I can see in certain areas, I might pick a man over a woman for a specific function because it's not like equality. Yeah, and it's all down to like biology. So I wanted to like quickly just read this like there's like 3 time periods, right? And we want to quickly run through this, right? So trip down memory lane, guys. There was the prehistoric and early history, and then I'm going to talk about that for a second. And then there's the Paleolithic era and the Neolithic era. I don't even know how to pronounce these things. All right, quickly, yeah. So basically, in the prehistoric and early history, women worked a variety of jobs, including gathering, agriculture, as we've said, midwifing. There was little cultural bias against women working. Women were recorded to sometimes even have been soldiers and fighters, but warriors were the exception to the case rather than the rule. Okay. In the Paleolithic era, men and women served different functions, but they ultimately had same value in society. Men would be herding, and then women were, gathering and taking care of children. But ultimately in society, they had similar and equal value. This is where it gets interesting. So in the Neolithic revolution, it was marked by innovations in agriculture. As a result, not all people needed to be farmers. And this is where it started changing. Instead, they began to specialize in different jobs. This period would lead to an increase in food supply, increase in world population, and an increase in trade. Furthermore, work done outside the house, such as herding, was typically performed by men and began to be valued more highly than work inside the home. The transition to this also reduced the status of women in society, apparently. Agricultural settlements and the growth of cities meant that for the first time, societies had a surplus and territory to protect. So many societies coalesced around the strongest and most aggressive individuals who could protect the community from invasion. This led to the rise of men being dominant leaders in society and the decline in status of and equality of women. Okay. All right, so that's a trip down memory lane. Damn. Okay, any takes on that? Any objections? That sounds pretty logical, right? Yeah. All right, awesome. Now, quick question for you guys, right? We don't have time to talk about the modern man and the modern woman because we've run out of time.
We actually
basically touched on it. Yeah, but I want to ask a question, really, really simple question to you guys. What happened to the idea of sexual purity until marriage for women?
The first thing I asked.
Huh?
That's one of the things I asked.
Oh yeah, so you can take it first.
So what happened? What's the question? What happened?
So like, what happened to the idea of sexual purity until marriage for women and men? But because you're a woman, I want you to answer for women, and if as a man, answer for a man.
Yeah. So the question is, Elisa, why are you having premarital sex?
Who said I'm having premarital
You are.
You assume you are gay.
No,
Why are you gay?
No, but it's true.
How is it true?
Am I lying?
Mizo, chill.
No, but it's true.
Can you prove
So are you not having premarital sex? Exactly. Let's be
like,
honest.
why are you
No,
making
why
it
do
different?
you think she's having premarital sex?
Why do I think she is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she is.
Okay. An assumption. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Answer the question.
okay.
Answer the question.
Well-
Why do you think women are not waiting anymore? Like, because you're a hybrid, you have some traditional values. So ultimately, back in the day, sex was viewed as like for marriage. Like you have one sexual partner as a woman. Or do you agree that traditionally women used to have multiple sexual partners?
I think that in the past, with the having premarital sex before marriage, it was a mix of culture, religion, and everything in one. And then now it's not about whether women should have multiple sex partners. It's really not about that. I'm pro whatever. If she wants to wait till marriage, she's allowed. If she wants to have one partner until marriage, she's allowed. And same applies to men. If you want to stay a
No, but we're
virgin,
asking for you. So let's
I'm
narrow it
saying-
down to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm supporting whatever people want. So you're not pure if you don't have sex. You can be the meanest person on earth and not have sex, and you're still a bad person.
But do you believe in the idea of like waiting? Like, I mean,
I support
none of us
whatever is
are
working
like
for
ultimately
anybody.
traditional, but in like a fairy tale world.
I support
if you could
whatever.
replay life again, would you say, I would
support
wait for the
whatever.
right guy?
I would support whatever anybody
What's
wants.
the right guy?
I mean, the guy you ultimately marry.
I think I support
You know,
whatever.
one of the stories that I hold on to because it's so fucking annoying. I'm sorry for cursing.
Please cuss very well.
Is the story of a woman that got married. She waited all this time to get married as a virgin, and then her husband gave her HIV. Like right off the bat.
I heard about that as well.
So
Wow.
I think the thing is, we just don't see the value in it anymore.
You know,
Before,
Yeah.
like women were valued based on their purity, but now we
Yeah.
don't want. We don't.
Exactly.
We
It's
don't
not
care
about that.
We
about
teach women to
your-
shrink themselves.
Yeah.
So is it like
We don't want to live in
is it like
shame.
there's no reward
Who are
for
you
it?
having
So it's
sex
like
with?
why
Why
would I?
you
Exactly.
be rewarded
More or
for,
less.
like, I mean, everyone
Exactly.
is to themselves. I don't want to make anything cross any territory because a lot of people have a lot of religious things to say.
If
So
you're
it's not
talking
about
religion,
Yeah,
then
yeah, it's
that's
a
Yeah.
lot of
different
things
thing.
That's
to
the
say.
reason
Some
why-
people say
Aside religion, in the Yoruba community, when you get married as a woman, your first night, everyone actually waits outside
To
while
see
you
if
and your
you-
husband
yes.
go
So what
inside.
about girls that don't
and
have
your
hymen
husband
and
has-
they don't
that's
bleed?
That's another
the
thing.
biologically.
So it's like so dumb to me.
biologically, hymens
That's
are
why it's
different,
traditional.
and you don't have to break your hymen during sex. That's a fact. It's
And
a
some
biological
girls
fact.
take it up the
Thank God
butt.
to biology
You know?
for that.
So
Okay,
and-
but
and wait,
guys,
before
let's
they
try and
have-
stick to the
Yeah,
question.
well,
Yeah.
Let's try and stick to the
question
question.
is, I
yeah.
support whatever it is people want. So if you want to be a virgin, amazing. If you don't want, fine. At the
But
end
why
of the
do
day,
you think modern women now, like the attitude, because basically we're trying to do the comparison, right? So modern women now, the attitude towards sex is a lot different.
Yeah, because
there's this
then
whole
they were
sorry to cut you,
restricted.
sorry to cut you. There's this whole like sexual revolution,
Yeah,
women,
yeah,
my
yeah.
right, my body, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, ultimately everybody
Slut
wait,
work.
like ultimately human beings do you get me? But like I'm asking you, why do you think that there's a decline in women
look,
that are will want to give it
yeah,
to
because in the past
the
it
guy.
was shamed. There was a lot of shame assigned to sex.
Yeah.
You couldn't just talk about
women.
sex. For women, it was a taboo. Like, and it's not in a way of you need to have multiple sex partners. We're talking about one. Back in the days, you won't inform me how to use a condom. Or know that this is the risk that is attached to that. So there wasn't the liberation to have this discussion to begin with,
And that
even in
goes in for
households.
women also.
It goes to women and to men. Certain things is more like, okay, now if you come to your friend, I had sex with 5 girls, amazing. I mean, if a girl says that, whoa, you have sex with 5 guys,
Yeah, but there's
you're
a reason why.
So
there's
there's
a
a
reason
lot of
why.
things
There's a
attached.
reason why that's like
okay,
that.
before we get into
Yeah,
that, it's
yeah.
just to say that then there was less liberation, and then it came to an extreme in the 90s, late 90s, and the magazines. I've seen a lot of the 90s magazines. A lot of us about sex toys, and I'm like, whoa, that's a really
or the Cosmopolitan magazine.
cosmopolitan. Everything's about sex toys.
I'm going to do a whole podcast on that, but yeah.
Yeah, but the
continue.
Cosmopolitan magazine had a lot of things about the sex, so it went to another extreme.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
me, and now maybe we're finding a moderation ground that again, it's not about multiple parts, it's about health, it's about yourself. Like if you're having sex with one person, let's practice safe sex. Let's
Okay,
just,
cool. All right,
you know,
Shadi, answer the
To
question. So wait,
women.
ultimately you're saying that technological advancements and modifications in science make it like you can minimize the risk. So women can have sex and get away with it. Back in the day,
It's not even about
like the
getting
instant
away with it.
repercussions of you
No,
having
it's the
multiple
shame.
sexual partners. Hold on. The shame would be from you getting pregnant. Right? So if you
Before
had
marriage,
multiple
or
sexual
or
partners,
anything.
if you had multiple sexual partners, like as many girls as do
Or
in their teenage
diseases.
years, or diseases,
Diseases,
it
or,
would
yeah.
show on your body, right?
It's not even
So
about.
now-
It's not about that.
You said,
It's not about.
yeah.
You're really.
You said the shame.
You're
So I'm
bringing
talking
it
about what is
lower.
the shame? The shame is the evidence of that sex. If it's hidden, it's not shameful, right?
But it's not
Nobody
about.
knows.
It's not about even about being hidden. Now we don't have to hide. You can comfortably say it if you want to. It's about if you want.
Yeah, and I'm saying, what are those reasons? And I'm saying,
Well, because now
obviously,
we've changed it.
yeah,
We
'cause
can
you
speak
can.
with, talk about it. Now you don't feel bad for having sex. Now you can feel good.
But why
about
don't
not
you
having
feel bad?
sex.
Because
it, I mean, has
okay,
become more
because you
modern.
can get
Yeah.
away with it. You can have sex unprotected today,
Yes.
and use condoms, so you're not going to get pregnant.
Yeah.
You can use condoms, so you
Plan
don't get
B.
STDs.
Yeah,
but now it's
Well,
not
but
as
back
bad if
in
a
the
woman has
day,
sex.
but back in the day, a woman that has multiple sexual partners has a higher chance of having multiple children from a sexual partner. So that I think that's what your point is
And
with the
even
shame,
if it's
right?
just one child, it's very hard for her to ascertain.
Is that
who
what you mean by the
father
shame,
of
though?
child
I mean,
is.
in sense of culture and religious way, because it is not about even getting pregnant before. You can have
Yeah.
sex and not get pregnant. And so if they find out he took your virginity without being married, then it's a bad thing. So it's a lot
Okay.
of things entwined in
Yeah,
one
but the
point.
question
Okay.
was about like what you think, like
That's what I
your
think.
own
Yeah, that's what
values
she
are.
thinks. Okay, so let's move on. Shirley.
Back in school, like this is 100 level. I remember I got a nickname, Anima Shaun, which means a
Giver.
cheerful. And yeah. And you know the thing? At that time, Omo, had I ever seen? Had I ever seen prick before? Nope. So why are you trying to shame me for?
How would they even know?
Yeah, how would they even know? But you see, it's still a tool that is
Research purposes.
employed to shame women and to put them down. To be honest, I think that women are more
Can
open
I-
to.
Can I
Wait,
explain?
let her finish her
Okay,
point. You know
okay.
we need to wrap up.
Are more open to like having sex with multiple partners today because, like before, that there was a lot of value put on
Virginity.
on
It's not even
virginity
just
and stuff.
before. Like, it's that's how things are.
Wait, hold on.
In the
Hold on.
past,
Hold
there
on.
was a lot of value because I mean you're supposed to get married and then you're supposed to be pure for your husband and all of that. But I think one thing is that women discovered that doesn't help you in the marriage. If you're gonna get beat, you're gonna get beat. If you're gonna get cheated on, you're gonna get cheated on. So what extra value do I
So
have?
the modern woman has
So
been.
why can the man be pure too?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I said they're gonna answer for themselves, but so let's just hold
Whoa,
it.
so
I'm just trying to get like straight, clear-cut answers, guys. So
what's the point?
so are you saying now that it's because of the incompetent men? Like, so now there's, like I said, there's no
There's a
reward.
lot of incompetent
So-
men then.
Okay, so you're
There's a
saying,
lot.
But yeah.
yeah. So like, is that what you're
But
saying?
yeah, pretty much. Like, I'm not getting any extra value actually being a virgin, marrying you. So why don't I do whatever the hell that I want?
Was there anything like beautiful about like, you know, like the women, like, because there are a lot of women
Yes,
that
I have
those
a
values.
friend especially that I know for a fact is still a virgin. And I'm like, there's nothing that can ever make me tell her, yo, it's just, come on.
And what's her reason? Like, she's waiting for the right guy, yeah?
Yeah. And
Okay.
because
Sometimes,
religion.
a lot of people have a lot of religious or energetic connections.
Yeah, but
feel
I
like
don't
sex
think.
with you is an
See,
energetic-
many people are religious, but that religion doesn't hold you back from doing that thing. So it must be like some personal principles as well.
Yeah.
which is not bad.
Yeah.
It's not
The
bad.
point is
And
you
I
can have
always
your
tell her, wait for the
principles.
right person because it's such a waste gathering bodies.
Okay,
But like in
It's
terms
such a
of
waste.
like being accountable, in terms of like the sexual marketplace, like
Yeah.
ultimately the problem that you see these days is like modern men.
You're assuming that it's just today that we are finding out how to remove pregnancy.
no.
Okay, sorry. So my point is
Hot take.
the accountability in the sexual marketplace is this like so you have
I mean,
modern men complaining
In
like
Yoruba land, you were supposed to have sex on the white cloth and they'll bring it out, a photo of your family
about
and
to say what I
friends.
wanted to say.
Hey, this is my flag of purity.
You're like, come on, that's a bit denouncing
Okay, so
of
if I can
me
just
as
get
a
my point
person.
out,
It's
I'll
invading my
really
privacy.
appreciate it. Yeah, if I can just say my point, I really appreciate that. Yeah. So like you have like these modern men complaining, you know, ultimately saying what they want, right? So we've spoken a lot about what women want, like the traditional values. We don't want a competent guy. We've spoken about the feminists. I think I might be wrong, but modern men say that they want an element of traditional values from their women, and ultimately what they're talking about is virtue. So if you're
Virtue equals virginity.
No,
I wouldn't.
Yes, to these men,
think-
yes.
It's a
No.
question.
I
It's
think-
not a
Oh,
statement.
so if
It's a
I can like
question,
finish
it's a
my point,
question.
maybe
Yeah,
you
but-
get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
as opposed to like jump into conclusions, right?
Alright.
Wow.
So, like-
I asked a question.
No,
jumping
no,
to
no.
conclusions.
Like it's really
Soft
important
spots.
because we can
Yeah.
like keep jumping and stuff, right? So like I'm saying that like the guys want like holding women accountable now and saying, okay, well, you know, you've done your whole phase, like you've been modern, right? You have a number of sexual partners, and ultimately in the sexual marketplace, to some guys, it makes you like unattractive. So
that's
is there
okay
like?
for them,
So
I
my
guess.
question is like, is there like a benefit in 2023 for women to say, I might be a modern woman. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna have those modern values that I'm liberated. You know, I'm not in the kitchen. I'm my own woman, but there might be some sense in me holding in just terms of like sex, in order to
that's
like
fine. You
not
can have your
devalue,
principles.
You can.
in order not to devalue like yourself
Yeah,
to
I
the
don't
guy.
see-
Wait, let me just. All right, go on.
I
I
don't
can't
see,
get
I
my
don't
point
see it
across.
as being
It's a bit
devaluing.
tough, eh?
Yeah.
A bit tough. Okay.
You see, this is something women do.
Finish your question. Finish your question. I thought
This
you
is
were almost
something
done.
women do, right?
Huh?
But anyway, I want to buttress the points that you made, right? First of all, I understand that everybody can do whatever it is they want to do. Like women, if you want to be promiscuous, you can do whatever it is you want to do in your life. But there are consequences.
Promiscuous.
Why don't you guys like? We've already
Everyone.
spoken about the trash men, and nobody interrupted you guys.
No,
Why
but
can't-
nobody
why can't-
ever. Not,
No,
but
but why
you know,
can't we
but
speak
you know,
about
nobody-
women?
Nobody
Like,
ever.
I feel
we've
like we've
used
touched
for
a nerve
anybody.
now. I feel like we've touched
but
a
for
nerve.
a women.
Who spoke about trash men?
No, like we've spoken about the ideals of men that are like,
And, like,
But who
But
that we
said
don't
that
like.
men
Yeah,
were
yeah.
trash? Who said that?
No one said men are
nobody
trash.
said
Okay,
men are
But we don't
That's
like
you
those
saying that.
values, like
Which
some
values?
values. So now we're trying to explain to
Which
you that.
values?
you like-
okay,
Okay, so
No.
now we're trying to explain that
See.
there are men,
Yeah.
right? Ultimately, just answer the question. There are men that want a
That
more
is
traditional.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get my question out? This is crazy.
See, now that's the thing.
There are
The
men
reason
that
why-
want a more traditional
Yeah, okay.
woman
The
in
reason why-
that sense.
the reason why
So
this
is there
question-
sense in advising women? Like, if you want to attract a certain type of man,
Bro,
is it okay?
The reason
up
why
to
this,
you.
this
Yeah.
question
Man,
is
you
very
want.
important. The reason why this question is very important is because you see the same women, right, that come and say, okay, like I said, you can do whatever it is you want to do, but there are consequences. If you feel like, okay, yeah, as a woman, you should be able to gather as many bodies as you want, right, and still end up with a competent man that is at the top of his field in whatever it is he does, there's a problem there.
Multiple
Because
partners equals incompetency.
no, it's not that you're not incompetent, but the thing is, if you're going to attract a top guy, like a guy that's
Who is a virgin at the
successful.
top?
No, it doesn't have to be a virgin. It can be fucking a bunch of different bitches.
Okay,
but
so that is making him competent.
wait, no, that's not what makes him competent. It's because those don't do this. It's because he's
Guys, if you don't, no, but on a serious
What
note, if
makes
you
him
don't take,
competent?
wait, if you don't take the question
No,
seriously.
What makes him competent?
No, guys, on a serious note, if we don't take the question seriously, we're not gonna like
To
the idea of
find
this
the answer,
podcast
right?
is like, did you answer questions? Well, if every time I say something, you're like, then we're not,
No,
we're not actually,
finish
no,
your
we're not
question,
gonna
Mizzle.
conclude,
Yeah, that's
and we
the
need
thing.
to
But
wrap
that's
up.
not what
So
makes a
just
man competent or
No,
incompetent.
no,
that's the
when
thing.
you're
Wait,
gonna say that.
just maybe
let's
listen to
just
the
finish.
full
Let's
question
finish.
first,
There's something that-
and then respond.
Yeah, there's something
Please.
there's something that women like to do, right? They like to one up men. Like when men are speaking, they like to one up them and make it, they feel like they're smarter. But it's cool. But anyway.
I mean, I don't disagree from what you guys are doing right now. I don't disagree. Just let him finish his. Let him finish his question.
It's especially when
If
they
you
know that
check
what
it.
they are saying is making
It's
sense.
triggering, exactly. But yeah, go
Anyway.
on.
About competent men that have sex.
Just wait, let him finish. Let him finish. No,
Do you know what? It would be better if you finish, like you speak when he finishes.
Yeah,
Then you
exactly,
talk. You get
right?
me?
Yeah,
So now-
sit down and shut the fuck up.
Like
Okay, so now the thing is,
the modern
you
way
guys-
of saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys say that it's
Why did I
okay
pick these
if
people?
as a
Jesus.
as a modern woman, right, it's okay for you to be promiscuous and have as many sexual partners as possible, but you still expect a certain kind of man, which is the type that you want. You don't want a simp nigga. You don't want a guy that is overly emotional. You want a stoic guy that is successful in whatever field he's at. Now, what about what that guy wants? Do you know what that guy wants?
What does
A
he
guy that is at that kind of level. He wants status. He wants to be able to feel like this woman that I'm with increases my value. He's not going to feel that with a woman that has a lot of bodies. It's impossible.
There's nothing wrong with
Case
that.
in
possible.
point. Do you accept
Is it
that
possible?
is how guys feel?
Yeah.
It's not all guys. Like, for example, you who are having sex with multiple partners, it's okay
Listen,
if the
like I
person you
said-
want
So
doesn't
like,
want
listen,
you.
Okay, so
This is why I said-
let's
this is why I
ask the
said-
guys on the table. Let's ask the guys on
This
the
is
table. So
why I
let's go
said-
with Olumide. Olumide, when you're like looking for like a life partner, would you like her to have multiple sexual bodies, or would you like a girl that's been run through a modern
No.
girl,
Run
or
through?
is a girl?
You
or-
see, that's
no,
why
no,
I have
no,
problems
no.
because
Men
when
who
they
are
talk
run
about
through.
women, they say,
Who
they
are
use all
men?
these words,
Who
but they
are
don't
men?
even realize
I
they're
don't
saying
want a
it.
man who has
Run
been run
through,
through. Let's start with
promiscuous.
that point.
But then they say, men that have they've had multiple sexual
okay.
partners.
Okay, so
Let's
guys,
start with
It is
for the basis of
telling.
this conversation,
It is
let's
telling.
on the basis of this conversation, let's
Yeah.
not make assumptions
Yeah.
that we're the type of guys that say that
No,
men
we are using your
chill.
words.
Shade, you have to let me speak,
Yeah.
please. Let's not make assumptions. Let's not make assumptions and say that we are like guys on the table saying that we agree that men can have multiple women. That's a conversation.
I'm not saying
Wait,
that you
listen,
did
that's a
that.
conversation
That's a
from
different
outside this
topic.
podcast. For the
Yeah.
sake of this conversation,
Yeah.
it's the first time we've mentioned multiple sexual partners for any gender. I'm asking him a very direct question. Would you like a woman that's had multiple sexual partners, or would you prefer that woman that is low-key, she maybe had like one or two? Like, what's more attractive to you?
To me as a person, I would prefer a woman who's had limited sexual partners.
Okay,
As a
why?
person.
Why is that?
Because the tendency of you having to be compatible with me is there.
It's higher.
Yeah, it's higher. Because other than that, I don't think, as in sexually, like you can have, to me, right, I think nature, or should I say not nature, but society has placed it in a way that men can have sexual partners, a huge amount of sexual partners, other than women, because they know that women are more emotional beings. They tend to attach sex to emotions.
It's less risky for men to have more
Exactly.
sexual partners than
Because
women.
we're logical. As a man,
It
we're more
is.
It has
logical.
nothing to do with.
I don't necessarily agree with what he's saying, but I would like to hear more.
Yeah, because no, as in from time we've been told, or we've been taught as guys that you're supposed to think before you act, but women act based off how they feel. That's how it has been.
Okay, so for you,
that's how it. That's how I
you
grew
feel.
up,
Okay,
yeah.
and then light on. Can we just for the random to make it more? Hey, buddy. Yeah. How do you feel? Would you, if you were to go for a woman, would you like a woman that's like those traditional values in terms of like virtue, like how many, like just with
Virtue
sex?
is
or,
not virginity. Let's
yeah,
start
no,
with
100%. Okay,
that.
that
First,
sounds
a virgin,
alright.
a virgin.
Yeah.
Would you
No,
like a
first off,
virgin, or would
I
you
don't
like?
think
That's how they
I don't
equate it.
think-
So let's
Wait,
let them
do you
have
guys
it.
want to ask a question? Ask that same question. Maybe I'm wording
Would
it wrong.
you like?
Go on, ask him. Yeah.
How about someone asks me? Would I want a man who's been run through?
I will ask you that. We will ask you that.
Okay, I just wanna know.
No, it's
Hold on.
equal. We will
Hold
ask you
on.
I
that.
want to know that.
Yeah.
Hold on. So first of all, for me, that is
Don't be
definitely-
political, just yes
I'm
or
not
no.
being political.
Okay, go on.
You know where I stand on this, right? So first of all, for me, that is something that your number of sexual partners you've had in the past isn't the first thing that would attract me to you. There are other things that attract me to you first off. So the intellect is there, every other thing is there. So conversation of what's your body count is something that's probably going to happen pretty
At some
much
point, yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the first date question. Hey,
Yeah,
my
no,
name is
100%.
Elisa.
What
What's
do
your
you
body
mean
count?
not the
So-
first? Not what do you mean not the first?
No,
date
no, no,
question?
no.
No, why
Just-
should
yeah.
why
No,
should
let him
no,
finish,
no,
let him
for
finish,
me
yeah.
okay wait for me why should what's your body count? Why should that be the first date?
I'm not going to meet you and sit down on a date and I'm like, how do you like the coffee here? How many people have you had sex with?
Of course
That's
not.
not
There
what
are
I'm
other
going to ask
intellectual
you.
conversations
But
to
like,
have other
if-
than
if
how
we're
many
actually-
people
So just
have
to
slept
let him
with
finish
you?
his- yeah,
How many
point.
people? How many boys have run through you?
That's a crazy question.
It's good to
Yeah,
ask you
it's a
like
crazy
that.
question.
It's never going to be asked like that.
Yeah. It won't be asked like that. But yeah, anyways, Mizo,
but
and then
for
your
me,
take is
body count
right?
is not it for me.
Yeah.
Do you tick
Yeah.
other boxes for me?
Okay, cool.
Yes, you tick other boxes
Cool.
for me.
And then,
yeah, I think
Mizo,
that-
what's your
that's where
take? Like,
compromise
make
comes
it
in.
very concise.
Very concise and
yeah.
clear, right? What would
Yeah.
I prefer? A woman that has
Virtue.
more body counts or less body counts, right? She has everything else, right? See, this is the thing.
Concise,
this is the
please,
thing,
yeah.
right? If I have two women, right? This exact like you. If I have you 2 times, right? 2 times, right?
I am your perfect woman.
Yes,
or-
exactly. One. This one,
Allegedly.
right? This one allegedly. This one has
Which one is the
This one-
alleged me? Right?
the right one, right? You right on the right. You have only one sexual partner, which is your current boyfriend, right? You've only had one sexual partner. This is the second person, the same person, but has 2, right? Who
which
would I
of-
pick?
yeah.
I'll pick the one that has only one.
So you pick me, not my alleged.
Exactly, the
twin.
first one. That's you, right? The reason why I would pick you is because there are so many reasons why. Aside the fact that it gives me more status, right? Being able to tell my friends, being able to tell the world that hey, she has only been with only me, right? I'm proud of my girl. Aside that, right? There's also the sense that I feel more like a leader. These things feel like nothing to you, right? But it's very, very,
Don't stop it.
very.
No one
I'm not
stop it.
stopping him.
It's
I just want to say
very,
something after that.
It's very, very important to men. It's very important to men for them to feel like they can lead you. That's one of the
In
things
my
that gives us
virginity, of
joy.
course.
Bragging
No, you
rights.
don't have to be a virgin, but just the fact that I know that.
Okay. You know what? That's your point, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's flip
No,
it.
no,
Yeah,
no, okay, I
equal rights,
understand
equal
that.
lefts.
Yeah.
Okay, Elisa,
Equal
would you
rights,
like a
equal
But
guy?
I want to hear your point. You were saying so, about to say
No,
something.
he's already given
No,
us.
I was gonna say something, and I think I lost my train.
Okay,
of thought.
Elisa. Okay, you know what? Olumide, ask her the question.
Would you rather a guy who
Has been run
has
through.
A promiscuous man
you
that has been
rather-
run
A
through.
guy can be
Mysterious
wrong.
would you
man.
rather a guy who has countless bodies?
No,
than
a
a
promiscuous
guy?
man that has been run through.
Yes, please say it.
Wait,
so
before
easy
you even
it's
finish
so
that question.
easy to
So
say
I-
when it comes
yeah.
to
Phrase
women
my question
because women
well.
are run through.
No,
but
no.
men are
No,
men
no,
have
okay,
men
no,
have
okay,
men
okay,
have
okay,
power.
okay,
running.
okay,
There are men that are hoes.
Yes, now.
Listen, it's
Okay.
like
But no
okay,
men are
it's
wrong.
just that in society there's a stigma attached to it. Alright, cool.
Oh,
There's an
nice.
assumption.
We have our being
Yes,
aware
Yeah,
of
yeah,
this
we
thing.
are aware of
we
it.
do not
But
have to,
there's an assumption.
perpetuate
There's an
that.
assumption. There's an assumption. You've just heard from 3 men that one out of
I'm gonna
3
walk
out
out
of
of this. No. No. Just because I don't agree with you.
Does not make you less of a man.
No, I didn't say that.
No, that was what you just did. No, you mentioned 3 men, and next thing you said,
No, I said
A
I
man
made
apart
a
from
mistake. I made a
a
mistake.
different
You
man.
actually heard from 4 men, but 3 out of those 4 men said they matter. That's what I was trying to say. That's why I tried to recount.
Okay.
4 men,
Virginity matters.
3 out of 4 men said it matters. Now there's an assumption.
Yeah.
The assumption that guys want that virgin. It's very important to us, right? There's also the assumption that women want the more sexually experienced man. It's part of what he was trying to say when he said competency. You can debunk it for us now. Shade, let me start with you. Yeah, competency in all fields.
What does competency mean?
In all fields. So it means
ability to get women.
Exactly.
What is sexual competency for women?
I think it's not really his sexual performance, but his ability to attract
What
you.
makes a woman sexually competent?
Sexually competent.
Yes.
her
If competency is the meaning, sexuality is one of those things. So
Yeah, what makes-
if I'm a virgin, does that make me a competent person?
No, that's what I'm saying. Men, it doesn't
not
matter,
in that
guys.
aspect.
Doesn't
It's
matter,
not-
guys.
it's not-
We would.
it doesn't-
I think in our
Okay.
argument, a guy would like want to be with a girl that has no sexual experience whatsoever.
no
That's why the
sexual- okay.
virgin
No,
It doesn't-
is like the
not
type.
all guys.
No, but that's the virgin for years is the height of the
Not
sexual
you.
marketplace.
Personally,
So,
I'd
yeah.
rather. To me, I don't want to marry a virgin.
Okay.
Yeah, but like you,
I would
you
like
want
that
someone that
sexual
already
Let's
has
experience.
simplify.
maybe
Would you
one
want to
or
marry a
two.
virgin?
Yeah, one or two.
But I want to marry a
Yeah,
virgin.
yeah. What do you want?
Alex, I know where
No.
I
No,
know
no,
where
but I
the
want to marry a
answer is.
virgin.
I know where the answer
No,
is.
No.
But
I don't think any girl
but
wants to
if I
marry a virgin.
find like a girl like that I'm feeling and I find out she is a virgin, it's not a turn off for me. It just
Turn
means that
off?
raw.
It shouldn't be a
It's
turn
like-
off.
it's good.
How can
Like,
you
it
do that?
shouldn't
Yeah, so
turn
that's my
on.
answer.
Yeah, it shouldn't
All
be
right,
a
so let's
turn
go
off.
back to the girls now. Okay, so debunk it for us. Would you like a man that didn't know how to touch you, didn't know how to please you?
Right.
They know how
That is
to
another
Can I
great
finish?
assumption
You are
because you could have
expected
said that
to
for
orgasm.
women.
Wait, let's answer
Sexual-
the
Okay,
question.
finish
now.
your
Answer
question.
the question now.
A woman who knows how
Do
to
you
touch
like?
you.
So,
Okay, so you like the women who don't know how to touch you?
Did I say that?
I don't know.
That's
I'm
what a virgin
assuming.
is.
No, you didn't.
If she's a virgin, then she doesn't know
Guys,
how
in
to
general-
I
touch.
said okay. So we
Answer the
virgin shaming now.
question.
We're not virgin
No.
shaming.
So how are we
It's just
assuming that a
a-
virgin doesn't know how to touch a man?
Okay, so
This is
how
what
are you
you're
assuming
doing.
men?
Would I like
I
men
didn't
who don't
assume
know?
that.
They
I
are
said
not answering the question.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Why are you guys
Answer the question.
deflecting?
You are
Bro,
gay.
this is crazy. This is crazy.
No,
This is absolutely
No,
crazy.
I'm just trying
One
to,
house,
I'm just trying
one
to sound
house,
it back
one
to you.
house, one
What you
house,
said,
one
yeah?
house.
Okay, you know what? Moving forward, can we answer questions
Yeah,
for the sake
okay.
of time? Right. Okay, Shadi,
Yeah.
do you like a guy with, like, I don't know, do you want to marry a virgin, or do you like a guy with that's been run through a hoe, or do you like a guy, I don't know, or that's had a few,
No. There are
a
two
few
different
sexual
questions you're
partners?
asking, Alex. There are two different questions you're asking.
You're asking
Would you want a guy who's sexually experienced?
Okay.
Someone that's a
Someone that
virgin?
doesn't have any sexual
Exactly.
experience. Yeah. So
Because
which one would you pick?
A virgin doesn't have a sexual
It's that
experience.
simple. Which one would you pick?
No, wait.
Can I say
No,
something?
wait. No.
God, this question has been.
The question.
No,
No, that question has been
run
twisted.
through.
No. Let's be fair. Yeah, let's be fair. Yeah, no.
What I'm saying is
Let's
what
be
I'm
fair.
saying.
Yeah, the question has
so
been
much fun.
twisted.
No, wait.
She's having so much
has been
fun fucking
twisted.
up the
Asking
question.
is,
I love it.
as a woman, Shadi, would you rather a man with sexual experience? A
Not
man
no,
without-
we're not talking.
Guys, let him ask the question now.
Wait.
No, the question has been twisted.
there are
Yes, the
two-
question
there-
is
there are two
supposed
questions.
to.
Okay, he's a host. Everyone, everybody, sit down and shut up. Okay, answer.
Men, women.
The question we
everybody.
asked
Okay,
earlier is: would you prefer
A
a
guy who
woman?
has-
Wait. Would you prefer a woman with multiple body
Body
counts?
counts.
Yeah.
or
So
a
now the
woman
question
without?
flipped around.
Okay,
Would you
same
prefer
question
a
flipped
man-
around.
Okay.
Would you prefer a
Same
man
question
with
flipped
multiple
around. Let's
body
go.
counts?
I don't want him to be run through. No, I don't want him to be promiscuous. No.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my take.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
because
I don't
virtue,
want.
he's a virtuous
I want
man.
a
you know?
virtuous man.
Yeah.
So you want
Yes.
a virgin man?
Yeah.
Shadi, just stop playing. Be
no,
real.
Does virtuous
Okay,
equate to
now-
virgin?
now can I ask
want
my
a
question?
virtuous
Wait, guys,
man.
nobody talk. Let her talk.
I want a virtuous man that has not been run through, that does not have bare bodies. and
What's bare
that-
bodies to you?
that is
Exactly.
not promiscuous.
What's bare bodies to you?
Define
Explain.
with a number, like capital with a number.
Multiple sexual
Like
partners.
number.
5.
5.
With a number.
Wait.
10.
You guys did not ask.
Oh, Elisa, we're not asking you.
So-
Elisa, we're still gonna get to you. Chill.
can answer that.
Yo, number, please.
Okay.
Don't fall for
What?
their
No.
trap.
What's too much for a woman?
We're trying to find
No,
out.
whatever
Educate
number
us.
We're
it
not
is for a woman,
phrasing-
I
we're not
would
phrasing
put the
the
same number for
Chill,
a guy.
chill.
Uh-huh.
If it's too much for a woman,
That's
then it's
such
too
a
much for a guy.
political answer.
No.
Fall
If
for
it's too
their
much,
trap.
legitimate. if it's too much for a woman, it's too much for a guy.
Okay, so
That's
how
it.
a number for you, please.
A number for me.
Yeah, we need to extract something from this.
Boy, a guy that's been run through has.
Wait, the numbers.
chill now.
Sorry.
I don't know how to.
Sorry.
All right, so
real quick,
I don't
real
think the
quick.
girls are going to let us answer
Real
this
quick,
answer
real
this
quick.
question.
I think if you're going to ask the number also has to do with the age, sort of.
Yeah, because the older you are, you have more partners. Example,
Do you have
I've been
a
run
number?
through.
And I do not support promiscuity in women either.
I don't support
So
promiscuity
I
in
don't want
anybody.
anybody to be promiscuous or to be run through by tens of people.
You guys can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
women
dismiss
are
what we have to
highly,
say. Yeah,
women
do
are
it.
highly attracted
Tell us
to
what
men
we
that have
want. Tell us what we are
sexual
attracted
history.
to, Mizzle.
Tell us,
Tell us what we want. What makes us
Listen,
great.
I'm not saying.
I want what you say.
Listen.
I want.
Yes,
Say it.
we have no idea what it is that
Listen,
we want.
I'm not saying
You have
like.
to tell us
Listen,
what
I'm
it
not
is.
saying. I'm not saying I know what it means to be a woman, right? But I'm telling you about the results and the actions you guys take and the things that you respond to. What you guys say is very far from what you actually respond
Very
to.
good. Exactly.
You can
Why
come
did they
out-
put
No,
you
but it's
in
true.
the classes?
It's true. You guys will come out and say you want a vulnerable man, you want a man that doesn't have so many sexual experiences, you want this, you want that. But at the end of the day, the kind of man that really moves women, the kind of man that really gets you guys going, right, is the guy that has more sexual experience than you. Is the
Okay,
guy-
you know what? I have a simple question.
Yeah.
Why is it anyways, why is it that like
No one has answered my question though.
yeah, no one's
What's
answered
your
your question.
question?
I don't think
Sorry,
they're gonna
what's
answer
your
it.
question?
I don't think they're gonna
Because
answer
we
it.
know what the
What's
answer
your
is.
question?
Yeah.
We
We know what the
So wait,
answer
Edison,
is.
can you answer the question? Let's try it.
I
Let's
want
try
to
it.
have to answer that question because
Should I
I
repeat my
already
question?
said.
What? Yeah, please
I'm not
repeat it. I want to hear your
Okay.
question.
Would you rather a guy who's experienced sexually or a guy who's inexperienced sexually?
Simple. Yes or no? Yes or no?
It's not.
Either one.
It's not a question of I think yes.
Which
or
one
no.
would you prefer?
The guys were very honest, very explicit.
Point
We gave
blank to the
details.
point.
I'm thinking because I'm trying to be honest.
Okay, all right, I like that.
So yeah.
You would like a guy who's experienced in bed sexually.
You know you would.
Of course we know. Of course we know.
There's another conversation
No,
about
do
like
you
guys that can't make girls come.
Yeah,
Exactly,
that's-
There's
yeah.
a whole
no,
conversation
no,
about
I'm
it. So
so
would you
sorry.
rather a
That's
guy
a
that knew his
That's
way
exactly
around your body?
That's exactly
Like,
what I was on.
Yeah.
Like, because there's experienced men that don't know shit. So what's the point
so
of
would
that?
you want that guy that could make you come, or would you just
No,
like a guy
I
if he was shit in bed?
But
Alex,
that's not
you
dependent
can
on
be a
him being
virgin
a
if
virgin
know how
or
to do
not.
that.
Alex, I
There's
disagree
some
with that.
virgins there.
he
That's a strong game ever.
I disagree with that, Shadi. I disagree with
Oh
that.
my God.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
There
We're
is
gonna
porn.
have to-
Wait. Hello. There is porn up.
virgins.
We're gonna have to wrap
There's
this up.
only fans for you
To
to
the
watch.
viewers at home, I apologize. This is the most uncoordinated podcast we've had. I think it's a really difficult
There's no
subject,
virgin
guys.
who. There's
Honestly,
no virgin who is.
I don't know.
Started
We're
as
gonna-
modern and traditional
So
men
for
and
you to
women.
experience
So
it,
Start at
amount of bodies. Some amount of bodies.
I would rather someone that is interested in pleasing me. No.
this was done.
Chill. Let's say no. Let's say
because that is the
he's
more
a
important
virgin.
quality.
I'm sorry, everybody starts from somewhere. He's a virgin, but he's willing to learn. He's willing to do some shit.
But I'm not saying-
Let
but I'm
us
not
go.
asking
I
if
will
he's
go with
willing
that
to
guy
learn. No, listen,
over a
Shade,
person that has
Shade,
bare body that
Shade,
doesn't know how to
assumes
do
what
shit.
I
Shade.
want on my
Yes.
behalf.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, cool. Okay. All right, we're gonna. All right, so we're gonna have to wrap up now. All right,
See,
cool.
This is the point.
Lex,
And
Alex,
yeah.
they jump
can we have
over
a
the
part two of
point.
this?
We're gonna have to have a part two of this because like there's
Guys,
not enough time.
Let us know. Do you want a part 2 in the
Yeah,
comments?
let us know. All right, so my
Like and subscribe,
my final question to wrap it up. This is final thoughts, guys. Right?
I'll behave myself.
You know, I feel like it's interesting. Sometimes we have like views that we have. I don't know how we develop these views, but there are views, right? But I feel like the truest way to find out if you believe something is if you would pass it on to your children or the next generation. So for me, personally, I think there are like for my daughter, I would want her to be modern in some areas, but definitely in the areas of like virtue and respect, I would want her to be very traditional. And I would want my wife to be able to pass those very traditional ideologies down to my daughter. So like a really good, strong example for her to look at, right? I just want to ask you guys, in terms of like traditional and modern values, what would you like to pass on to your children, your son or your daughter?
Yeah.
And in closing, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Yeah, so we'll start with you.
That's a really loaded question because a child is not a little thing that you just think of. There's a lot of qualities that I would love to pass on to my children. Of course, respect and the fact that they have to be aware that there are other people, other situations. It's not just them and their little words.
Respect for yourself as well.
Respect for yourself. Respect for yourself means you choose what you want to do. And you would know, like, obviously, I won't tell my kid at 10-year-old, like, oh, sex, whatever. It's not about that. But when the age comes, I'll try my best to enlighten them, because at the end of the day, the kid will decide what they want to do.
So what are you teaching your son and what are you teaching your daughter? What specific?
I'll teach them respect for others, respect for oneself.
When it comes to how they treat the opposite gender. what will you
Opposite
teach
gender,
them?
of course,
Yeah.
everybody, women, men, elders, young people, whatever you want, they, them, teacup.
So what would you tell your son, like in relation to like relationships, like what would you teach your son? How should he treat women? What should
With
he
respect, just the way women should treat men with respect. I can't just see you and start insulting you for no reason. So obviously it all depends on the context. So like obviously as strangers, when we're in a coffee shop, I'm not just there fighting people random because you're a man.
Yeah.
There's a
So if you had a daughter, what would you tell her, like when you're going into the sexual marketplace and the dating game?
what about men into the sexual market?
Yeah, but so like, can we stop doing that? What about men? Like, just answer for the women,
Wait,
then we'll
about the
answer it for
kid.
the men
I
as
want to
well.
be the kid, both kids, men and women. I'll tell them that, you know, obviously your age mates maybe have already spoken about sex, and sex is not just the physical. There's a lot of things, consequences that come from sex, which you should be aware of and be ready for.
Yes.
You know, it's not a matter of girl or boy. It's a matter of you should know what it is. If you're 13 having sex, do you know what it is? Like, you have other things to be doing. Your mind shouldn't be just in sexual development. There is one of those things, but there's so many other things.
Okay.
But you should understand. So I would obviously enlightenment in general.
Awesome. Let's come on.
I have a question. So in terms of the gender politics, right? What would you instruct your kid, boy and girl? Right? Because you know we're in a world where guys or male children, exactly.
You know what I'm afraid of? That's not what I'm afraid of. That with the technology, everything is online.
Exactly. With
Porn can be
going from
online.
that,
I
yeah.
don't want my kid to be watching porn at 5-year-old. You know, I'm afraid of that. There's certain things I wouldn't want them to be aware of too early. Everything like
Even like job opportunities, like a valid job opportunity for a woman now is to market her sexuality on OnlyFans and
Yeah.
get paid a shitload of money.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like we can't say, oh, I'll just let
But
them
then
be
there are a lot
themselves.
of also
You have to
men-
literally
You have
guide
to-
them,
you-
and
you
I
have
feel
to
like it's
control
intelligent
that,
to
yeah.
like
You have
also
to parent-
censor some
Yeah,
of
but
that
there
information.
are a lot of
Because
men
you're
on
gonna buy
OnlyFans
you
as
buy
well.
your son a phone for the purpose of communication, but
And he
guess what?
starts doing-
There's a whole fucking world in the palm of his hands,
Yeah.
and you're not ready to. So like,
You
it's
know-
like, I don't know. I feel like there is very like a lot of need for that strong,
There's a lot of-
very traditional.
We're diverting already. So
Yeah, so he has to answer the question as
Okay,
well.
so sorry,
what
what
would
sorry,
you tell
just-
your
just to-
kids?
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Uh-huh.
Respect, self-respect, kindness, and knowing that it's more than them. Awareness, knowing that this world is not easy, but there are things that we can do to help. That is really what I want. You know,
Always
a
do a
kind
lot of
fucking human
research.
being, man.
Yeah,
Research
awesome.
purposes.
Love it.
Research, you know,
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah, great.
Well, for me as a guy, right, going off what you said, respect
Don't go
is
off what
key.
she said.
No,
She's
no, no.
a Yoruba
Like-
demon.
Like going from what she said about respect, right? It's mutual. You have to have respect for your elders, respect for your community, respect for everybody around you. Now, going into in-depth knowledge of, okay, you're a boy, you're a girl. There are things as a boy you shouldn't do that's pertaining to the other sex. I'll more or
have to
less give
teach
them a
them,
straight
yeah.
line. Like there's a boundary, right? As a guy, you can't do such and such and such. As a girl, but knowing that my wife would handle that, but
Yeah,
I'll
but
still comment.
we're saying like specific things. Like, what would you
Okay.
tell your son? What would you tell your daughter? What would
So
you
the
say?
actual question was this, right? Would you advise your son and your daughter to have more traditional values or modern values, like, or would it be a mix? Like,
It
when you, in your
definitely has to be a
indoctrination.
mix. It has to be a
Mix.
mix
Okay.
because you can't have one without the other. If you ask
Yeah,
me,
Okay.
yeah.
one comes before the other. So like I say something, right?
We stem off
Our
traditional
generation,
values.
it's like our generation, the millennials, we are actually very, very vibrant people. Why? We were born in a world where we had the internet and we didn't have the internet. So we're born from both worlds. We knew what it was to go outside and play and actually interact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have to, my phone, social media, Snapchat, tweeting. No. We actually knew what it was to actually go outside and actually socialize. Kids nowadays don't know what that means.
Yeah, facts.
They don't know what that means. So they
Facts.
literally they can't live without a phone. My nephew came to my house, right? I hadn't paid for the internet at that time. He was so erratic. He couldn't stop whining. I'm like, okay, what if I didn't pay for the internet?
What are you gonna
Couldn't
do?
Exactly. Would you die? Of course you won't die.
We knew how
So-
to have fun with the air freshener back.
You
and
get me?
we- and-
You could go on the
the
days when you
remote.
go to the toilet and you didn't take your phone. You have to read the air freshener instructions.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
it flammable?
The
What
soap,
flavor?
everything.
No, the context.
we all know it's so well.
Bro,
Alcohol.
I think that's the funniest thing I've heard.
No, I'm serious. Because there's sometimes, trust me, Alex, there's sometimes you've
Oh,
gone to
been
the toilet
there.
without
Okay,
your
it's
phone.
a human existence.
Yeah.
We've been there.
I will definitely outline that, look, as a guy, these are the things you need to do. Be in touch with your emotions, master your emotions, right? But don't be afraid to show your emotions. Now,
Fantastic.
emotions are not
Fantastic.
limited to
Right
crying.
Period.
They're not limited to crying.
When I
or
said it, I didn't get
anger
no
or
applaud, but it's-
I'm sure you don't say it that way.
We did not say that.
yeah, clap for Alex. Yeah.
So, and as a girl, get in touch with your feminine side. Don't get too many bodies. I'm sorry to say it.
Take back my clap.
Yeah, that's.
I knew it was
I
too
clap
early.
for that. I clap for that as well.
Sure, that's me as an African man.
As an
Of course,
African man,
as an African
as a
man,
Lagos
don't
boy.
get too much bodies as a girl. Know who you give. I'm not saying you should not get anybody at all.
I'm
Okay.
just saying,
Know who you-
calculate before you give.
Yeah, be smart about it. That's it.
Are you going to teach her to what's it called? Prepare herself for a man.
Oh, of course, yes.
What do you mean by prepare yourself for
No,
a man?
I'll let her know. The
Or like
tricks.
buy
No,
lube and
no.
stretch it out a
the
bit.
tricks-
No.
I think he meant the
tricks-
cooking.
Like
and
stretches.
Kegels.
Guys,
Alex, you're
trying
sick.
to get girls, right? Because there's nothing a guy hates more than a girl who's experienced. Like when a girl has so many brothers and they tell her, "Oh, these are
No,
the
we're not
tricks."
even talking
You
sexual.
have many
now.
I know,
bodies
I
and you
know,
don't
I know
even know how
now.
to cook. You are ashamed.
Facts. So, like, I would definitely let her know that, look, you're coming into a world that is predominantly male, but you need to know how to navigate this world. As simple as that.
And that would also go for the
Guys,
For your
to-
son.
Of course.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Word.
Shade.
Yeah, Shadi. Guys, in closing, man, we need to wrap this up. Sorry.
Okay, so honestly and realistically, I will tell them to respect themselves. Do not, no, for real, do not.
Respect is very
I don't think
important.
promiscuity is a good thing in either
for sure.
person. Reason, calculate. Is this person worth your body and your time and your future?
Period.
Because
Yes.
this person will be attached to you forever. If you ever have to take a list of all the bodies you have, that person's name will be on it. You need to be attached to this person.
Yeah.
So, like, really think about it. It's not worth it. Yeah, it might seem fun, but yeah, the downsides to it are more than like the upsides. And I'm not talking about presenting yourself for a man when, like, I'm talking to my daughter, but just really. Like all those spiritual,
I'm afraid
emotional
of the
connections.
kids that are to come. I'm really afraid.
You don't need
No,
none of that.
no, I'm afraid because I don't know how I need to tell them everything that happened before me, during me, and during
I
them.
feel,
I'm
I
afraid.
feel, I
They
feel,
don't need to
I
tell
feel
them.
we as
They'll find out.
millennials, if we do what we're supposed to do, the kids will be fine, yes, but at the same time,
Kids will be
If you do what
okay.
we're supposed
I don't think the kids are going to be fine, even if we do what we need
not.
to do.
no, the kids will
Because
be
we're
fine.
coming from like more traditional parents,
booking
and
them.
right
Yeah,
now
yeah,
the
yeah.
world
Yeah,
is the most
yeah,
worldly
let's
it's
get
ever
to
been.
Yes,
So
for me.
the next
As
generation,
millennials, we
Fucked,
come from a traditional parent, and we've also experienced the
Modern
technology age, the modern age. So I think should go well for us when we're talking to the kids. Like, okay, look, we've had the best of both worlds, and
we
this.
can show you what's good and what will
bad.
harm you. That is
And-
what is our role. I think
And,
that's
and
what
it
I
all
would
boils
say.
down to the kid. If your child will listen to you, your
Yes.
child will listen
If
to
they
you.
That's
won't,
not,
they
it's not your
won't.
business whether your child listens to you. What
My,
should concern you is whether or not
my
you do
greatest
what you're
fear-
supposed to do as a parent.
Yeah.
Say what
My-
you should.
which is why it's
Be
important
there
to
for your
have.
child.
Yeah.
Be there for
Yeah.
your child.
because
Alex,
there's some
that's the first
children
step.
that
Be there for your child.
My greatest
Emotionally.
fear, my greatest
Which
fear
is why it's
every
important to be
parent-
honest as well.
Yeah.
Like there's
every
nothing wrong with
aspect.
telling your
The
daughter
time we
like
ran through.
hold that cookie, shorty.
Yeah.
Hold that cookie. Don't give that man that cookie,
In every
baby.
Don't give that guy
aspect.
that
Wait
cookie
for that
because-
right man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think that's
my-
an
Cookie
advice
Monster
a
go
lot of
eat that
women have
cookie.
given us as
But-
well.
My
And I'm
greatest
not
fear-
saying-
He ain't gonna marry you, shorty.
I'm not saying this,
My
to
greatest fear as a
pander or
parent,
for anything, but I also tell my son, yeah,
Know
you
who
don't-
you're with. Know
yeah,
which
you
girl
don't
you're
need to
bringing
have
home.
sex with everybody.
Yeah.
No,
He's
facts.
Give it to
Respect
somebody
yourself.
special. Wait for
Facts.
somebody
Yeah.
special.
Respect
Yeah.
And if
yourself.
you feel
My
like you
greatest
found
fear
it,
as
then
a
that's your
parent,
responsibility.
Yeah,
My
sperm
greatest fear-
retention is key for a man to becoming a man.
Before you're
I
like
like
30
space.
and
You
then you're
can't, you
shooting
can't,
blanks.
you can't dive into
Okay, we
hedonism
started
and
as
just come
traditional
every
men
5
and women
seconds.
and
Like,
sperm detention, whatever.
So my
Detention.
greatest fear as a parent, right, is to find out that my son is actually gay. That's my greatest
gay.
fear.
Do you know what? To be continued.
That's
Mizzle, go.
Coming up next week, guys. My son is
Mizzle,
gay.
in closing.
You are gay.
Why
Why are you gay?
I
This
would
is the
just,
conversation we're
I would
gonna
just
have
like to put it on the record that I don't agree with those views.
with gayism.
So wait,
Mizzle.
His views.
So
His views.
you would accept your son being gay?
I would accept my son as however way he is, but that brings me to the point I'm trying to make.
You haven't
Now,
started.
Wait,
Is
wait.
that a
I don't
yes?
know if I'm about to love him
Wait,
at the
wait.
end of this
Is that a
podcast.
yes?
Finally,
Listen, right? This is my closing argument. I have to wear my glasses for this, right?
Alright, go on.
Now, listen to
You
me.
see
This is
my
my
dark
message.
shades on
This is my
like I can
message
see.
to my children, right? I'm sure you're going to watch this. You're going to see what I'm
Yeah.
telling you, right? Listen to me very carefully.
Mizzle.
Listen to me very carefully. The most important thing in this world that you can ever do for yourself is to develop yourself personally. Personal development and responsibility is the best thing you can possibly do, whether you're a guy or you're a girl. If you can develop yourself in a way that it benefits you and also benefits your family and your friends and even strangers, that's the best possible thing you can do for yourself. Right? Yes,
Wait,
right. Now
not
that's diplomatic
that's like
answer
you
right
as
there.
a person. Once you are able to achieve that, I feel like you'll be able to navigate like the dating game. Now, I will teach my sons and my daughters to be more proud of the roles that they are naturally born into. As a guy, if you're masculine, you have to be.
And they take it right back. Shade takes it right back.
You have to be.
Alice was like, take that clap right back.
As a guy, if I give birth to a son, I'm going to teach him to be as masculine as possible. You have
Amen.
to, you have to be like
Amen.
masculine in a way that it is the exact way you need to be. Of course, you can be soft and you can be vulnerable to your family, to your friends, but you don't want to be vulnerable in public. You don't want to give people the impression that you're weak.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
no
how
one
It's a
should have to
dangerous
do
world.
that, you know?
Yeah, that's
Master
how you have
those
to be. No,
emotions.
but
No
the
one
problem
should
is
have
that if a child opens the internet right now and is raised by the internet, a guy, he's going to feel like he shouldn't be masculine. Because now, like, there's a repression for masculinity, right? People know that's why it's called toxic masculinity. The entire masculinity is now viewed as toxic.
Yep.
If a man is aggressive,
That
he's
is not
toxic.
true.
It's true.
No. Let
It's
him
true.
finish. Let him finish.
It's true.
But
Like
that's what
men
it's about.
are now aggression is now viewed as toxic. Aggression is
It's
not always
toxic
toxic.
for
It's
everyone.
Aggression is not
It's
necessarily
not always
toxic, but continue.
You might need to be aggressive to be able to fight your oppressors, right? You not might. You need to be aggressive to be able to fight your oppressors.
Or you
But
can have an
men and
aggressive business strategy.
Exactly.
People are
That's
Exactly
not
right.
toxic masculinity we are talking about.
Exactly.
No,
It
for
goes
real,
down
okay,
to
yeah.
No,
women.
it's not about.
It's
It's
like
not about.
it's like watching the whole idea down.
See,
That's
now-
not what we are talking
No, no,
about.
no.
about-
Continue.
It's
Tell
not
us
about
more.
what
Tell us more.
you are trying to say. It's
That's
about
what,
what.
no, that's what we are saying.
It's
You are
not about
hearing
what you are
something
saying.
different.
Mizu put his
Exactly.
shades on. You have to let him finish.
That's the
You
point I'm
see
trying
my
to make,
dark
right?
shades on
I
like
get,
I
I
can
understand
see.
the points that feminism is trying to make, but I'm trying to explain to you what men are receiving, what majority of men are receiving from that message, right? Okay, so what do you want from us right now? Because most men are simps, most men are weak. Is the truth. There are very, very
Modern
few,
men.
very, very
Modern
few
men.
modern men
Sitting
that
at
are
home
competent.
playing games, eating
Yeah.
popcorn,
Right? And when they open their phones and they
Sleeping.
see,
Just
oh,
eating
waking up at
popcorn.
9 o'clock
Yeah.
and drooling
Popcorn
on their
masculinity.
pillow, then
Yeah.
going back to sleep,
Hello.
to sleep some more.
You see, this is why
They
I
don't go
say
to the gym.
Men deserve less.
They don't work out.
Because
Yeah, we-
what?
Alex, when he said
They don't
you're
get
not
money.
part of the men,
They
you're
don't
not.
drive fast cars.
Hello, sorry.
have the toys.
Let's. For the record, Alex has been on my neck since. Cause I had popcorn. You had
That
to
is the
mention
problem
popcorn.
of this
They
child.
eat
He
popcorn.
had popcorn, he did not share it. That's why we're all fighting, all angry.
But yeah, so in closing, yeah, that's good.
yeah,
All right.
no, yeah, closing there. That's fine. Yeah, be more responsible for yourself and be
All right,
more
like,
masculine
final
or
takes.
more feminine. If you're a guy, be more
Final
masculine. for a
takes.
female.
Yeah, basically what he said. Teach my son and my daughters good morals.
Yeah,
Develop yourself. Know yourself. And if you can do this, you can take on the world and teach them to survive. Whatever survival skill I'm going to teach my son is the same survival skill I'm going to teach my daughter. Also, especially my daughter, please. You have to be a strong woman.
Yes.
You have to be a strong woman.
yeah.
Like, you have to stand for yourself.
Awesome, guys. Man,
This
that
is the
was
only
a tough
moment
one.
We're all very quiet and
Yeah.
respectful
Right.
of one another.
You know why?
Because
Because
we
the
all
two of
agree.
you like Lighton. You like
I
his
love him.
ideology and you agree with
I
him.
love him.
There was no interruption.
No.
There was no
everyone had a good
gaslighting.
point. Everyone had a good point
Yeah.
here in their own way. Like when he started, he's been my favorite as well. Everyone,
Wow.
though he wants to marry
Even
me.
Mason had some really good
No,
points.
he had some good
It's
points.
just
Everyone had
that
some good
his good
points.
points were mostly overshadowed by
What?
his
What?
More masculine,
What?
more feminine. He just had to
Shut up and sit down.
No, but I think everyone had really good points. And it was
However,
really
everybody had
nice.
really good
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. was nice.
Awesome, man. Wow, tough conversation. Like everyone's been using their handkerchief.
And to be honest, it's so easy to
You
speak
know,
at
it's
a
very
podcast.
Yeah.
And it's much different when you actually have kids.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
when you
yeah.
have
When you
kids,
actually
Yeah.
you call up each other, guys.
Can
Remember
we-
that podcast?
No, no.
back. Yeah.
Okay, can we just have what's it called? Just a mini second just with you to my future kid. Just so
To my future kid.
to my future kid. So you can say whatever it is you want to say
Please
to the
do not
camera.
conform to the values of this world. Be yourself, whatever it is that you want to be.
No,
Because the world will not value you anyway.
There's a problem with that. There's a problem with that, right?
guys.
But you're the one
Do you
that's
know what? Do
accepting
you know
your son
what?
that is gay.
Do you know what? Yeah.
We're just
Yeah,
coming to
yo,
good terms.
It's like almost 2 hours now. Yeah.
All right, we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like I was saying, it's gone up, it's gone down, sideways.
Let's all just be praying to God because that's us.
That's last, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, man. If you agree, disagree, hit us in the
Let
comment
us know what
section.
you
Let's
think,
figure it out.
because, yo-
Tell them to subscribe, guys. Tell them to subscribe. Come on.
Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
That
Don't
thing
waste
you do.
time.
No, you
Comment.
point down. You point
Yeah,
down.
Point
yeah,
down,
we're
subscribe.
here,
Shadi,
somewhere, yeah.
point down. Subscribe.
Yeah, and let us know what you think
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
this has been a really tough.
Let
Even
us
though
know.
we're laughing, it's been a really tough.
Remember-
But
discussion
I
for
think
all of us.
we're civilized, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
We
saying
would have
that.
been fighting, especially
I mean-
Mizu. I'll turn your shirts, guys.
Remember to follow on all social media platforms at
yes.
Post1960podcast,
Podcast.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and click the subscribe button on YouTube and like, please. And
See you in the next episode.
yep,
Bye.
Bye.
peace.